to Sajed, Masu was like, yeah, you know, he's pretty good at team fighting, but not scared of his lane phase at all. Sajed was basically like, well, yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So we'll see this game because Masu was popping off in week 1. He had some extremely good games. Him and Cryogen were kind of running bottom lane, and they absolutely destroyed later in the game too. So that's one of the things that definitely want to keep my eye on here for this series. How they're going to draft around bottom lane to, you know, see if they can get to Sajed's, you know, strength there with the team fighting, and if they're going to get, you know, run over too early.
Okay, so in the selections for this first game, FlyQuest chose last pick and Disguise chose blue side. So very standard draft in terms of the order of things, in line with what we've seen for so many years up until this point, as it will be Jace and Varus banned out by Disguise. FlyQuest targeting some junglers, looking at Kisno over there, banning away the Jarvan, banning away the Pantheon. Disguise now also going to ban a jungler themselves, getting rid of Nocturne.
So you know what that means, Flowers?
What's that mean?
We got all the picks up here. We've got the Azir Orianna trade. We've got Rumble for top lane and Bessa for top lane. A lot of primo picks up and available. And whenever you have a team with Castle, this has always been true on all the iterations, previous DSG and multiple teams that were like losing teams. Castle has always liked being on a champion, you know, like Aatrox or Ambessa, one of these ones, where you can carry for top lane. Rumble here, huge for team fighting, one of the ones that we mentioned. So they think it's first pick worthy, and they're fine trading Orianna Azir. Seemingly, maybe they even have a little surprise cooked up.
Response.
But I'm not predicting any sort of surprise. Call Me did have a really good Akali game. So Akali is another option if you're feeling more spicy and you don't.
Not this game, it's not. That was the third ban there from FlyQuest, so I agree with you.
That's respect for his really good Akali game. So they're not going to get that level of spice. But there you go. You get the Orianna. We're assuming the Azir will be on the other side. And then what's your other answer here? I would probably prowess something for Griffin. I mean, Griffin talking right now. Looks like they're going to get their just Rumble answer, not really any sort of counter or anything, but we've seen Cassante do some Cassante stuff quite recently.
Yeah, if you're talking about spice, I feel like Orianna Cassante 1-2 is bread. That's the amount of spice that we're on right now.
It's like the spices that they use in England or like German food.
The spice is beans. It's just beans on toast here for FlyQuest. But hey, it works. We'll see how well they can execute on it because Disguised, it's a classic combo with a Rumble. You have some powerful AP damage up there in the top lane, Wukong right next to it for some equally powerful physical damage alongside AoE on both of them, and they'll lock in the Azir mid here as well.
There you go. Okay, they shifted through some of the other options, but at the end of the day, Flowers, it is always Orianna versus Azir. Unless they're already, unless it's a fearless game and they've already been played. So
yeah, then they're out. Then we can't use them anymore. But hey, yes, there you
Griffin!
go. We got Kobe's pick.
My boy. Okay,
bear.
so all of my hopes this whole season were resting on Griffin because he had already previously played Volibear in the South, and Volibear right now is in one of like the peak forms of this champion. With Dusk and Dawn in the current iteration and Volibear in the current iteration before we get the next patch.
Gotta put that on the list.
This champ is one of the best users of this item. Double stacking your lethal tempo and your passive for Volibear is so effective, and it just gives the perfect stats for him. Loves HP, attack speed, AP, cooldown reduction, all types of stuff. It's just really good rush item. And so I'm really happy to see that we do have some players that are willing to use this before Volibear does get nerfed. And it seems like the nerfs to this champ on the next patch are going to be fairly substantial. So I don't know for how long we're going to see Volibear.
Are you already writing another letter to Freak?
No, I'm good because I already diversified last time they turbo nerfed Volibear. I had fun being a one trick for like a year and a half or so. But last time they nerfed him, I was like, okay, I think I'm done with that. So
all right, gotta branch out a little.
I branched out a little. It's all good. I'm not resting all my hopes because I know Freak could just headshot me at any moment.
Okay, you got to be aware. Freak is conditioning you to be a more well-rounded player as we do have our second half of the draft rolling in now with Lucian, Nico, Bard, and Nautilus banned out in the second phase. It's a lot of focus on support. Karma will be the lock here for FlyQuest, as Corki is the AD carry for Sajed on Disguised, and they will lock the Nami in next to it.
Okay, honestly, very standard stuff on the side of DSG. Of course, Volibear jungle is not standard at all. Fairly few teams doing it, but it is very successful in solo queue. So
I see so much of it. Watching like high challenger ladder games, it's in like every matchup.
Yeah, it's so it's not something that's super out of the ordinary. I personally love when you have a Karma on your team. Yes, Ezreal Karma, you know, it's good lane, good poke down there, but it also really emphasizes Volibear. That speed up from Karma is so effective, because one of the ways they've been nerfing Volibear over the past year or so, they took extra move speed out of his Q. And last time around, Griffin actually maxed W first. A lot of people, it's like, there's different levels of how many points you put into Q before you max W. Okay. Some people are full 5-pointers, and they're like, I need all the speed.
I need my Q.
I need my Q full 5-pointer. Some people are like me, I go like 3 points, and then I go into it. I believe in the last game, Griffin just maxed W first with just 1 point, and then you're extra slow. But if you have a Karma on your team,
then you're not slow.
There you go.
And you're scary.
So
okay.
I like that.
Now, the big thing that I'm looking at here for FlyQuest compared to Disguise, you look at Disguise, there is so much wombo combo potential here with Wukong, with Rumble, a Nami ult coming through, a Zir ult on top of it. Everything here feels like it can be layered together super effectively. Over on the side of FlyQuest, though, I'm kind of going to need to see the bear ball delivery system, just Volibear dunks, Orianna alley-oops. I feel like they're going to have to look for better setup for their fights.
Yeah.
What are we thinking here?
I mean, Volibear, his jump is not super fast, so honestly, it might be better for like Cassante delivery, or to just use flashes to deliver.
Okay.
We've been seeing in EU, you know, they're running Mundo as a delivery, and then Mundo just flashes forward on them.
Flashing them.
So you can flash a shockwave in there pretty quickly for an engage. But Volibear always has the go-to, of course, of you precast your E far, and then you Q, and you're just running at them, and then you flash your Q. To get one person with that engage, but for the Orianna on the back of it, then you can get multiple people.
All right, as we're waiting for our minions to collide here in the lanes, let's go ahead and listen in on Griffin's pep talk to his teammates during Champ Select.
Yeah, let's not be complacent against these teams, okay? They're not that bad, even though they look bad. Play a normal game. Yeah.
They're not as bad as we think they are, even though we think they're bad, and we have to make sure we don't int.
Honestly,
I respect it.
Honestly, I love cocky jokes. You know, he's like, yeah, these guys are terrible, you know, but they're not that bad.
It's like, don't full send it. Don't full send it. Even if you think they're bad, play like they're good.
That is funny.
Okay. I respect it from Griffin. I love this guy's attitude. He hasn't been in the league for very long at all, but like every time you see him, he's super high spirits. He seems super confident. I'm excited to see what he does on the Volibear here.
Yeah, I went in there to interview Masu, and then Griffin is like yelling at me the whole time. You know, he brings a lot. Anyways, we'll track him. We'll track the Volibear. Both junglers are heading down to the bottom lane, which is a very good strategy in the current meta. See if they can get any sort of extra pressure down around there. You know, Masu and Sajed, like we talked about, they were kind of in agreement that it's probably going to be Masu and Cryojin with some early pressure. And of course, if you're running Ezreal Karma and you hit your skill,
should have the early
if you hit your skill shots, you're going to have some early pressure. And the idea, you can push them in and then poke them while they're trying to CS under tower.
Yeah, Ezreal Karma, very deadly from range there. A question to pose to all y'all DSG fans that might be out there. Obviously, the season has started better than 2025 did, with this squad being able to grab a win in week 1. But can they fight their way to the top half of the standings? Can they truly defy expectations? That
top
we will have to see.
That's pretty high, Flowers.
Yeah, it's definitely above at least 4.
But right now, it's true. because they're 1-0.
They're doing it. They're making it happen.
So right now, it is true. So how high will they finish, though? Okay, already we got some believers. We got some believers, and they're actually growing. The believers are growing.
Honestly, that's more believers than I was expecting, considering Disguised's placement in the standings for the majority of 2025, right? Like, you remember the end of 2025 where the team finally got it together more. They were able to defend their spot. They didn't fall in the relegation tournament. But throughout a lot of the year, especially early on, there were so many struggles for the team. So seeing 40% of viewers believe in Disguised for top half is honestly pretty reassuring for them.
Yeah, definitely is. We got Papa Smithy in the chat. He's always very complimentary. He likes talking about both Sajed and Masu, of course. They were both under the FlyQuest organization.
I'm sure Papa Smithy doesn't want them doing well at the cost of FlyQuest doing poorly, right? Yeah.
It's like, oh, we want them both to do well, but one of them to do a little bit better.
But if I have to pick, I'm picking our guy, right? Like, I would love for everybody to be able to hold hands and be happy, but...
he's like, I hope Sajed can lose gracefully, you know, and still look good individually. Maybe he'll get like a pentakill, but then they still... Yeah.
I hope Sajed gets to work on his losing gracefully and Masu gets to work on winning humbly.
As far as what we did see from this DSG team, though, that gave a lot of people confidence was, honestly, Call Me here, that is on screen at the moment in mid lane. He had some very impressive games, I thought, and definitely bringing a lot more carry potential and playmaking potential as we see Griffin going for the invade on the Raptors here. Volibear definitely can bully Wukong early on, and so trying to use that pressure.
And I like how observers split the cam here because it shows the invade from Griffin is at a time when Masu and Cryogen are also crashing the wave into the tier 1 turret bottom. So Sajed and Lions don't want to have to rotate over to a chicken pit to take some like Colonel Sanders fight for this little tiny camp because they don't want to leave all those minions underneath the turret. So I like the timing here from FlyQuest.
Yeah, and they got pushing mid lane too. Oriana crashing a wave in mid lane, so you've got mid push, you got bot push. Great time to try something. I believe Gizno got plenty of value out of the Raptors still, and he's going for the Oriana play.
Okay, Quad could be in a little bit of danger here. Gizno saves the Nimbus strike to try to chase him after Quad gets away there with the shockwave, but Quad still alive, does not have to spend the flash. Worth noting, he did already take his first recall. Both mid laners did, so he doesn't have a TP, and he is at 300 HP and almost no mana, so Quad's not in great shape despite staying alive and not spending the summoner spell. Both mid laners now going to take the chance to recall.
Okay, so Griffin over here on Volibear as well after finishing up his own side. Taking the Raptors, then going back to his blue side and easily take Dragon. Volibear can easily solo Dragon, no problem. So good objective control here for FlyQuest.
Ooh, and level 6 now too on the Volibear. Griffin knows that there's that control ward in the tri-brush. The FlyQuest ward disabled by it, so he just runs in, immediately smashes that disguised control ward. Make it a little scarier down here for Sajed and Lions, who are just stuck underneath the tier 1 turret. Anyway, Kizno's going to go ahead and make his invade towards that red buff. Bubble misses from Lions. Not going to interrupt the recall there for Masu. If that one was placed just slightly closer, it would have hit, but it was a blind fire from the Nami, so it does not connect. Means Masu's tempo isn't interrupted. And speaking of getting interrupted, Kizno wants to finish this red before Griffin can show up and try to contest him for it, and sure enough, he will get that goal. So Griffin loses out on the second spawn of his red, just has to go to Krugs instead.
Yeah, all right, Kizno doing a pretty good job. I went back to check the smite too because it was pretty close, but Kizno also landed the smite on his own Raptors, so his defense of the Raptors was pretty good there too.
Nicely done.
And now with flash on Wukong, with level 6 on Wukong Flowers, you've got your work cut out for you. Definitely have some targets towards mid lane. Bottom lane's pretty hard to gank. It is Ezreal with a Karma as well down there, so very slippery, pretty hard to stick on, and maybe they'll just focus towards the Oriana instead.
Yep, man, there are 10 flashes up on Summoner's Rift right now. If you're a jungler, you love having your flash up, but you don't love it when the enemy laners do as well, harder to make those plays than they would like to see.
And honestly, with the state of Phase Rush, before it gets nerfed on the next patch, man, Oriana is actually quite slippery as well. So with Flash and with Phase Rush, even with an Azir on your team, it can be hard to pull off that play. That's why it was unfortunate for DSG that they didn't get Quad to actually burn his flash the last time they went and visited and used the Azir ultimate, and Quad did a nice job just using his ult to be able to phase rush proc and walk away.
Exactly. That was the perfect example of what phase rush does.
Oh.
Just ult the guy and walk out of it. Call me trying to go for the Emperor's Divide yet again, but once more, not going to find success. Lion's now in a little bit of danger. Masu going very far forward, and it's first blood of the 2v2. FlyQuest is bloodthirsty.
Okay, so DSG, at least they did get the flash in mid lane this time, but then Masu also flashes forward, and he's using his flash to get a kill, and it is first blood with the extra gold. Masu and CryoGen indeed using the Ezreal Karma here very effectively. They had constant pressure, earned themselves CS leads, earned themselves tower plate gold, earned themselves first blood, so it is definitely looking like kind of both of them may be expected, maybe not to this degree, but full pressure from FlyQuest, and this is what you like to see them use the early pressure very effectively, getting a lot of value, take away the red buff as well after the first blood, and successful bottom lane plays.
Man, that bottom lane lead is excruciating now. Nearly 1,000 gold for Masu when the team's gold lead is just about the same overall, plus 25 in farm in the bottom lane, and even mid and jungle are also farm advantages for Fly. Back in draft, you mentioned how Castle, whether it's on Disguised or previous other teams that he's been the top laner for, he likes to be able to play a carry and try to impact the game even if everything else is rough. And right now, he is the only individual who's ahead of his counterpart on Disguised. He's the only one who has that gold lead, plus 500 over the Cassante. Cassante is still Cassante though, man. I'm feeling like Disguised is not too happy with these first 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, they definitely could be finding more success. I think they would have loved, maybe if the first visit had gotten the Orianna flash, then they could have got the kill the second time around. But they're going to have to repeat now that it is down if they want to get anything done there. Otherwise, FlyQuest can just keep pushing ahead, keep stacking objectives. Next dragon only a minute away.
And you can see there, Castle's Rumble completing his Leandri's Torment. In case you missed it, that power spike moment means MasterCard card holders can click on the link pinned in chat for their chance to win $50 in RP. But Castle's going to need a lot more than 50 gold to carry this game when the whole team is 1,000 gold behind. That 45 seconds till the next Drake means that I'm expecting to see some attention paid towards the bottom half of the Rift right now as Masu and CryoGen keep the pressure mounted on the tier 1 turret. You can see Kisno clearing through his camps, clearing through this bottom side jungle. He's around the bottom lane, but there's not really a whole lot for him to look at right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Masu did use his flash offensively, so he doesn't have to flash, but I mean, he's still Ezreal.
Ezreal. Flash is right there on E.
Exactly, and constant health advantage and Karma there right beside him. So not a lot you can really hope to accomplish when they don't have any sort of angle to go for. So this bottom lane pressure means so much too. It's going to be an early quest here for Masu.
Yeah.
Getting turret plates really progresses you very quickly, plus the kill, plus the lead that they have. So FlyQuest just going to continue to stack these dragons. Griffin will start it out. Here we go, DSG.
Ooh, Masu. Arcane Shift back away as Kisno jumps towards him. And everything that I've been saying about Castle being the one point of power for Disguised, there is no teleport available on this Rumble. He can't try to make it down there to attend the dragon fight. That means that Disguised recognizes there's no real way for them to try to contest this. Griffin used the Stormbringer as soon as the dragon spawned to aggro the thing. He knew that they should be wasting no time securing this objective. So that's another one there for FlyQuest.
Yeah, it is just the best feeling in the world when you've got a bot lane winning that hard, because dragons is just so valuable to stack right now. It is the primary line to winning in League of Legends at the moment. Stack a bunch of dragons unless you have like some crazy scaling for your team fights later. So winning bottom lane is great. Just stack the dragons. You give away the grubs. Don't really care about that.
Yeah, whatever.
Go for it. You know, we have more turret plate money anyway because we're already pushing so heavily. And look at this, Flowers. 3 quests already completed for FlyQuest.
Big.
Because these dragons are contributing nicely to the jungle one as well. Griffin, just slightly ahead there, getting his a little bit early. Quite nice on that one. And Masu already rotated into the mid lane here with the Karma. Azir also has weakness to poke. So this duo lane effectively annoying for anybody to deal with. We'll see if they're able to land much on Call Me. Right now, Call Me's doing fine with just pushing the wave and everything. Yeah. He's got his Nashers, so at least he can deal with the minions very quickly, and Masu and Cryojin aren't able to like overextend or get too much poke behind the minions to land on him.
And Calmy's done a good job making sure he doesn't fall behind as well. He is now the second member of Disguise to have an individual advantage over his counterpart here in the mid lane with that Nashor's like you're talking about. Has the 3 cookies. Just drank the last sip of the potion that he was using to deal with that poke in the mid lane. As Griffin wants to fight for vision here. Tries to go in, only lands the stun on the Wukong clone. So not a whole lot of effect there from FlyQuest, but they will defend their control ward for now. Kizno's going to step back up, clear that one out of the way, and Griffin goes right back to his farming. 1.5 minutes on the clock until the Rift Herald spawns. I expect that to be our next point of contention, and particularly for Disguised, this is the objective that it's very easy for Castle to be there for. He's got his quest completed, he's got his Leandries, he's level 11, the Rumble will be very strong. This might be the opportunity for Disguised to go for a fight.
Yeah, let's see if they decide to pull the trigger. They do have Wukong ultimate ready to go. He's got his flash, so lots of plays can be made. You've got Azir, you've got Wukong and Nami here, so lots of CC possibilities, but can they actually force it to land? Masu's flash is back up, and so it's really hard to get to him, and he's got his Trinity Force spike going for himself, so plenty of damage there. And so then you're like, well, is Quad going to put himself in a position that makes it easy for us to engage on? Looks like they're just going to keep Call Me split pushing down here. That's nice for Azir. Get some extra money off a bottom lane before the objective spawns.
Yeah, Masu's so scary on this Ezreal, man. He's an entire level ahead of Sajed. The Trinity Force you already mentioned. The tier is most of the way stacked too, so Muramana Power Spike is not going to be super far away. And last time the camera panned to him, he still had the double buffs too. So this Ezreal is just beyond scary. Okay, the red has worn off, still has blue. Blue Ezreal is such a pain. Just never-ending Mystic shots flying at you if you're trying to posture for positioning around those objectives. 5 seconds until the Rift Herald spawns. Griffin has his sweeper active. We'll move forward, clear out some of that vision. And FlyQuest has already made clear, already made evident they want this objective. Once more, it'll be the bear in there, starting it off with the Stormbringer, as that makes it so much easier for Cryogen and Masu to keep the pressure on, make anybody from Disguise scared to step up, as Sajed wants to be aggressive in Masu's face, but Masu is just completely undeterred.
Yeah, let's see. It looks like Kizno positioning like he wants to go for it too.
Okay, Kizno tries to jump in. Cryogen's got the tether. They are going to do a ton of damage here to the Wukong, and Kizno's dead before anything else can even happen. Herald secured by Griffin as Castle tries to get away. Quad moving up there to reinforce his jungler. Kizno just too far forward there and immediately gets punished. Cryogen's tether seals his fate.
Yeah, how many times have you said, like, ooh, the highlight of this play is the Karma tether? Because Cryogen was never scared, right? Wukong's jumping at his AD carry, and he's like, oh, perfect. He immediately started walking forward because he knows, if I can get the tether on him, it will reveal, it will lock him in place. See, immediately walking forward, and he heals for the extra move speed too. And so the tether lands so that he's locked up, and then Quad easily follows up with the shockwave. Really nicely done. They used the heal speed, they used the Orianna speed right there. There was no hesitation. I love that here from FlyQuest. It's one of the things that we highlighted with this team, with these young players. They are always ready to fight. They are not scared at all. I mean, you even heard in the comms at the beginning of the game, Griffin was like trying to calm them down before the game even started. And he's like, hold on, you know, everybody remain in control here. Don't go too crazy. Yeah. But very surgical, honestly, from them, showing no fear as they showed in week number 1. So nice stuff again from FlyQuest, controlling the objectives.
Karma Tether is part lie detector. Anytime a champion tries to go invisible or bamboozle you, as long as the tether is there ahead of time, you are going to be feeling pretty good, but Griffin's feeling bad. Immediately just exploded. He tried to call the Uber with the Rift Herald, but he couldn't get home safely, and now FlyQuest has already lost their jungler. The fight might go further from here. All out from Gakgos means Masu's grabbing the kill on Castle. Disguise still sticking around. Kizno could be in some danger here as Masu is once more empowered by the Karma shielding. The Herald in mid, they're going to take down the tier 1 turret. Masu's got to be a little bit careful here, down to half HP. 3-1 game for FlyQuest, 2,000 gold ahead. Herald walking forward. trying to grab the second charge here. Will it hit? Kaboom! Yes, it does. Sajed will finish it off after it has already accomplished its mission. And FlyQuest, with their jungler just now respawning, making his way back out onto the Rift, will not start the Dragon up just yet. But Kobe, I have to be thinking Griffin's eyes are on that next neutral.
Yeah, his eyes were previously on a gray screen, and so after reviving, now he can turn them straight to the Dragon. Good job there, Gakkos, and they're able to get the counter kill, so all good. Back to that Dragon stacking. Just a very slight delay in number 3. It's still going to be a fairly early one here. Kisno is back, though. Kisno gets to try and go for a steal over the top. Looks like they're going to walk around the outside instead. Okay,
the Drake is already secured. Gakkos here soaking most of the aggro from Disguised early on. Castle has gone behind enemy lines, and he did not want to be there. True Shot Barrage hits Call Me and Kisno. Gakko still looking for a little bit more. Griffin goes through the Hex Gate. The Volley Bear jumps straight into Disguise as Kisno and Call Me both barely get away. FlyQuest really wants these kills. It's less than 100 HP on either one of them. Griffin is still chasing. Kisno's got plenty of speed for now. Doesn't look like Griffin will be able to catch, but he is looking for it. No. As soon as he walks into the turret, he realizes the chase will go no further. Disguised very happy to not lose jungler and mid laner there as well after Castle just sends himself straight into the waiting maw of FlyQuest. Now Call Me back down here trying to protect the tier 1 turret. Again, just trying to absorb all the pressure from this FlyQuest bot lane duo that's been having such a good game.
Yeah, that was not a good Hex Gate, Flowers.
No.
The
castle has fallen.
That Hex technology is dangerous technology. They did warn us about that in Arcane.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very
Even if
dangerous.
It's not made of Scorpion Souls anymore, it's still bad.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. So obviously after that play is made, then it's a tough spot for DSG because they're going to be down their top laner. So, I mean, Castle is going over. It is, I mean, that's always going to be a really dangerous play. But again, you know, Griffin's like, okay, great, I'll flash over. And so he immediately flashes the wall to get the kill. Cool part here is they use the shockwave on the Cassante. So they give it to Gakkos, and then he can kind of do his quick little engage there with the double dashes and get his little initiation into the shockwave. And they're having fun. FlyQuest coaching staff over here watching the kids have fun playing as well.
I feel like ThinkCard's grin had to be with the Hex Gate. It had to be like, that's not a Hex Gate we should have took. So,
pretty cool, we'll take it.
Yep, you love that if you're on the FlyQuest side. These guys are now 3,000 gold ahead. They're on Dragon Soul point. They're going to pick up this tier 1 turret in the top lane. That's going to bring them up to 3 turrets total, 2 in mid, 1 in top. Still got to deal with that one down there in bottom lane, but Gakkos is on it right now. And Kobe, we've got less than 3 minutes until it'll be the Dragon Soul spawns. This is now, there's no more time for lollygagging. There's no more time for fun and games. Ha-ha, tra-la-la. We're just some 5 guys having a good time.
Dude, there's always time for fun and games.
There's no time for fun and games.
They're literally playing games.
Dragon Soul is on the line. Fun is gone. Games is gone. Disguise, the pressure is there. If they do not have an answer for this Dragon Soul here in 2.5 minutes, close the curtains, turn out the lights, go home. This one's done.
True. Honestly, Flowers, games are only fun when you win.
They're the most fun when you win, that's for sure.
For a competitor. So if you're losing, the fun gets a little, it just shrinks every...
Yeah.
With every extra 1,000 gold and every dragon that you lose, your fun diminishes a little bit.
That last letter just starts to disappear, and it's just an F-U at that point. It's not the best time on the Rift, and Disguise are quickly running out of options. 21 minutes on the clock, less than 2 minutes until the Soul. And Disguised, what could they possibly find to give themselves an advantage here?
Well, they're hoping they find a pick.
Okay, Sajed goes in. Masu loses 20% HP. Okay, never mind. We don't have anything yet. I see Corky out forward. I got to get a little excited.
Yeah, exactly. You got to count every little bit of damage here. Trying to get some rockets. Okay.
All right.
Some rockets are landing, and he's dodging Mystic shots.
He does
two rockets landed, and then 2 Mystic shots missed, Flowers.
Okay.
You got to make your gains in small increments.
That means they're up 4, because they got a +2, enemy got a -2. That's math. Yeah. You get 4.
Yeah.
That's huge.
There you go. And it lasts in like a tiny difference in health, a little bit.
Well, the problem is Masu's also got red buffs, so he just regenerates.
All right, well, Baron might be fun. They only have 1 more minute to wait for Dragon Soul. But if you want to have some fun, you know,
get a little crazy.
You can give away that dragon and just go for Baron. So FlyQuest have the options here, and DSG, they got to like keep their vision on Baron while also keeping the pressure on Dragon. and they can start with mid lane pressure, and that's a nice 2 plates.
Yeah, so Jed knocks the crust off of the turret, grabs the first plate for
crust.
free. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember what the actual name for it is. I just call it the crust. So the turret's not crusty anymore. It's knocked over, but Gakko...
You're just cleaning it off, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
So
you're just doing a little...
when you're autoing one of these turrets that has the crystals built up, you're basically like a window cleaner, and you're getting paid for cleaning the turret.
Just keeping it nice and shiny. Exactly. Keeping Summoner's Rift up to code as Gakko takes down the Tier 1 turret in the bottom lane at the same time. Still 3,000 gold lead for FlyQuest. Kizno's got to be a little careful here. That Shockwave missing because of the flash committed from Kizno there for the escape. So that's flash down for the Wukong. Still has his ulti quad. No Shockwave here on the Orianna. FlyQuest moving back towards the mid lane now as Disguised again try to put in the work on the Tier 1 turret as Kizno goes in, makes the engage onto Matsu, but now he's in a little bit of danger. CC'd heavily, but not quite dead just yet. Tidal Wave won't hit any targets, splits FlyQuest up. But now with both the Cyclone and the Tidal Wave out of the picture.
Castle around bottom?
That's a lot of tools Disguise don't have. Castle drops the equalizer. Matsu goes back over the wall, stays alive for now. Call Me dies, trying to finish off one of the kills. Kizno's down to 400 HP, tries to retreat back towards Castle. The True Shot Barrage over the top takes him low, and Griffin takes him down. Double kill. Back to the Volley Bear as Castle's on the run and Griffin's on the hunt. Disguised has already lost 4 men. The Bears got a triple, Kobe. This animal is wild here in the bottom side river fight, and FlyQuest are going to get the soul for their reward.
So, you ran a poll at the beginning of the game, Flowers.
Yes.
That poll was, can DSG get top 4?
Yes.
And the numbers were pretty close. The percentages were pretty close.
Yeah, like a 46.
What do you say we run not the same poll, but a different take on it, and we run the poll, do you think FlyQuest will get top 4?
I think that number's going to be high.
Do you think that poll would be 100% yes?
I don't think it's going to be 100, because you always got...
You got trolls.
There's always some people in Twitch chat that are ready to play the gamba, that are ready to roll the bones a little bit.
we run it. All right. Twitch chat, do you think, yes or no, do you think FlyQuest will get top 4? I want to see how close to 100% we could get.
It's going to be pretty high.
90s maybe, you think?
I think 90s is believable. I think 90s. I feel like 80s for certain. 90s very believable.
Because they are crushing it. Their week 1 was really, they were crushing it as well. Was really fun to watch. And honestly, definitely do see some high peaks for this team. Some good potential.
All right, FlyQuest, you're 6,000 gold ahead. You've got a Hex Soul. It's only 25 minutes on the clock. Score is 8-1 in kills. The only death the entire game so far for FlyQuest has been 1 death on Griffin. Damage dealt in the last team fight. Masu's Ezreal has just been on point the whole game long.
Well, guess what, Flowers? When you imagine the most scary Ezreal of all time, does that Ezreal have a Hex Dragon Soul?
Yes. Yes, he does. He also has 2 tiers.
Yeah.
Because that was like one of the Ezreal terror builds from years past.
Yeah.
And now it's possible again.
Yeah.
So you can see he's got himself his snowball item with the Endless Hunger.
Yeah.
He's got his Trinity Force and Muramana, and the next tier is already over 200 stacks.
Nice, nice. All right, well, ain't nothing gonna slow FlyQuest down, Baron. Start that right up. Arcane Shift in.
When Ezreal Arcane shifts 2 inches away from a Wukong towards the Wukong, you know you've got problems. Oh, call me. He's got problems too. He goes in for the Emperor's Divide, and it's just a swing and a miss. He's out of there. Call me. 45 seconds on that death timer. Call me an ambulance.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be.
Call me an ambulance, and do call it for me, not for them.
Yeah, he is in the hospital right now. He is recovering as Cryogen is trying to lock up Kizno's Wukong. Gakko's just beats him down. 10-1 game now for FlyQuest. Disguised. I don't really see any way back into this one. That top lane turret is looking crusty, and Gakko's has his broom ready. Come on, man.
That's going to be your thing now, too. I'm going to have to get used to that.
I got to say something. I mean...
Dude, it's like kind of electric, too. Look at the
electric crust.
The power emanating from these crystals.
That sounds like a funky, like, bass band from the 70s. Electric Crust? I'd listen to their album.
I don't know if it's just me, but I don't like the word crust.
I don't know.
The way you're saying it.
I'm going to keep saying this. This is...
I'm down with like pizza crust and, you know, like cheese-filled crust. But the way you're saying it though, just it sounds.
What if we stuff the crust with damage?
Sounds dirty.
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds dirty.
Well, I don't know, man.
Well, the bottom lane's dirty now with all of this crust and tower ruins knocked all over the lane as FlyQuest are just rampaging through Disguised's house, and Disguised have nothing to say about it. So Jed and the rest of the team got to try to back up. Defensive Valks get Corki away. Mystic shot still tags him there on the butt. Call Me tries to go in, but the Emperor's Divide finds nothing once more. Quads on a rampage. Sajet is dead. Griffin just continuing to mow everybody else over, and with only Lion still alive on Disguise, the final fight ends before it begins, and FlyQuest with a 12,000 gold lead will just walk this one straight to the Nexus turrets. It was dominance from the laning phase all the way to the Nexus. Masu just jumps in there to complete the ace, grab the last kill on Lions. It's a 15-1 game. It didn't even take 30 minutes to play all the way, and in this upper bracket week 2 matchup, FlyQuest is just looking unstoppable in game 1.
So that is something that we classify in the business as a speed run.
Oh yeah, you're putting that one on the records.
Yeah, that is a speed run right there. All right, Lounge, what do you feel? How?
On 5 waves of farm. First blood was just Masu saying, oh yeah, Ezreal E goes forward too, by the way. Go back to your base fountain, instantly kills Lions, and from there it just never stopped.
Their team fights also, there was a big discrepancy here. So
yes.
Anyways, a lot of stuff here for DSG. We will see. Is the hype, you know, for this year for this team? This, I mean, after week 1, stocks on DSG were on the rise, Flowers, but
the market is fickle.
Are they? Yeah.
we shall see.
Will they come crashing down at the hands of FlyQuest?
Okay, second game in this best of 3. Disguised have chosen to go for last pick. FlyQuest has opted to play on the red side. Disguised banning out the Varus, the Jace, and the Ambessa. Varus and Jace, remember, were their bans from the first game as well. Over on the other side, FlyQuest going to continue banning out the Pantheon and the Jarvan, and Renekton will also be banned with it. First pick goes to FlyQuest, even though they're on the red side, and that first pick will be Talia.
Okay, so since they banned the Pantheon, maybe they go with the Vi to go with that Talia. We'll see about that. But the Rise trade for Talia is very probable. DSG, what kind of like split pushing could they build? Maybe they can go for split pushing since their team fights. Okay. Their team fights, honestly, they weren't looking great, Flowers. So maybe just everybody split. Well, they take away the Vi from FlyQuest, so you can't combo with a Talia here. That's a start. Okay, so you can split push and they have Vi ultimate to maybe pick people off. They're cooking up something here. Ooh, so when Skarner was first reworked, you were hugely on board. You got to go play test it, you know, early and stuff, and gave feedback and everything. Griffin was one of the players that started playing it and spamming it almost exclusively.
Yeah, he knows how to play it
instantly after.
He plays it a lot more than most people do.
Yeah, instantly he was playing it afterwards, and he really does like the kind of bruisery build. You know, going Sterix really early and stuff like that. So I was hoping maybe we'll see him do it because he put a lot of hours into new Skarner. So we'll see if he still does go for it. But Masu on that Jhin, extremely good performance from him on Jhin in week number 1. Very fast Jhin from him, and it's looking like they've got a lot of pick potential themselves here with Talia and Jhin. Plenty of playmaking ability.
Okay, confidence too to lock in this Alistar this early.
Yeah, on the bottom side, you've got like Poppy, Braum, a lot of stuff here up and available for Lion.
And at least for Disguised, this time around, you know that they shouldn't be able to bully you in lane as much as they did last time. Alistar is notoriously just not a bully laner at all compared to something like Ezreal or Karma. So Disguised are going to go ahead, pick the Bard up for themselves. Up against Jhin, I feel like Bard is one of those pretty common counter picks because you just see the curtain call lines open up. You fire the Tempered Fate right where he is. He doesn't get any value out of his ulti.
Also, it goes with the theme that we started talking about with Rise, where you want to like split push and put pressure on side lanes. So you have Bard ults to blow people's flashes. And you've got Ryze split pushing, hopefully, and then Vi can go kill the people that don't have flashes. That Bard has already ulted and burned their flashes off. So a lot of side lane opportunities for DSG. I like this. After game one, not being able to win the team fights, say, all right, fine, we'll make some picks, some side lane plays, and call it a day.
All right, second half of the draft coming in now as Yunara banned out by FlyQuest, wanting to remove that option there for Sajed, as Xinjiao will be banned out by Disguised. They know that their opponents still need to show their jungler. They've already got the Vi, so they want to get rid of that matchup. What else does Fly want to do here? Do we continue targeting the AD carry pools, as the Mundo is banned out by Disguised, so they do not want to have that unkillable meatball up there in the top side, potentially in the jungle as well. What is our last ban? The Gwen for FlyQuest.
Okay, Gwen, interesting. So they're it makes me think like tank top lane for Gakghost this game maybe. Because you don't want Gwen snipping you. Oh, also it does mean because Gwen could be annoying for Skarner as well, since Skarner is a health stacker. So maybe we do end up getting it from Griffin. Maybe.
Okay, Disguised. Got plenty of options, honestly, for AD carries here, even if the pool is pretty heavily targeted by bans. Honestly, not even that crazy targeted by the bans, just the Yunara and that Varus from the first round there. So Kai'Sa will be locked in for Sajed.
Yeah, it fully fits this idea that we have with the splitting the map, or spreading out the map for them, so they can follow up on the pick plays with Kai'Sa instantly, Killer Instinct, and not have to hopefully do too many 5-on-5s where they can get some kills and turn those into objectives. And so here's our tank that we're expecting from Gakghost because of the Gwen ban. Just good old Sion up there in the top lane, and we get the Griffin reveal. Jungle last pick, ain't no way we get a competitive Briar.
I highly doubt it. It's a champion that you can't control, and that feels pretty counterintuitive to pro play.
But
Kiana. I'm much more convinced by the Kiana. We'll get that one here for Griffin.
I was already about to go into a spiel about Endless Hunger and Briar and snowballing, and it's pretty fun, but it's hard to do, and I think it was probably tenfold more difficult to do in pro.
I'm sure it's great fun in solo queue, right? But in this type of environment, there's a lot more difficulty on that. Final pick of the draft here for Disguised is Rek'Sai in the jungle for Kisno. How are we feeling about Rek'Sai right now, my friend?
Let's go Rek'Ai top lane for.
Rek'Sai top lane. Sorry about that. Yeah, I misspeak. My bad.
Unless they want to do a last-minute swap and do some bossy tech.
Ooh,
lethality vibe. I'll give you 0.02% Flowers.
0.02.
I'm not closing. I'm not fully closing it yet. I'm not fully closing it yet, but it's pretty far close. I feel like Castle Lethality Vi that's a no-go.
Yeah, probably not.
Especially into Sion. I don't think that's happening. But the Rek'Sai into the Sion, though, is a lane where you can get that slow pressure. Now, the thing is, they did nerf Rek'Sai's Fury build on minions. Because they wanted to nerf top lane Rek'Sai while keeping jungle Rek'Sai unnerfed. Thank you so much. I love that, by the way. Bless. So we'll keep track, how hard did that actually make it to build Fury and regen on Rek'Sai? I feel like it's still going to be fine.
Yeah.
And you should still have pressure. And we'll see if it does result in the turret plates that it used to result in this matchup. If Castle's going to be able to push them in, get pressure, have plenty of tunnels for escapes, so you're not really a good gank target, and just regen up and try and get your lead out of minion pushing and tower plates pressure instead.
Yeah, Castle, remember, was the 1 point of strength in the laning phase for Disguised in game number 1. When the rest of the team was behind, it was Castle building an individual lead. We'll see if that Rek'Sai can evolve into the sort of raid boss that Disguised is going to need if they want to fight back against a FlyQuest that beat them, what was it, 14-1, 15-1 by the end of the first game that we had here. It was certainly a rough one there in game number 1 for Disguised, and Sajed was trying to hype up Kisno after that single kill game.
Yeah, the only kill on our team is now. What's the score? What's the score?
Yeah, what was the score? I actually don't know.
1 to 15. Wow.
115?
It's not bad. Damn, you're a beast, Kisno.
Yeah, thanks, man.
The carry we need, Flowers.
Exactly. That's good mental. That's PMA right there. Positive mental attitude.
Absolute beast. 100% of DSG kills in the last game. Dude, nerf jungle or what? Like, jungle's OP.
Nobody else can even get one.
That is crazy. Sajed also flashed the FlyQuest emo at the beginning of this game, though. Did you see that? I thought that was nice and wholesome.
Yeah.
A little shout out to his time on FlyQuest. And of course, when Masu got promoted, Sajed is the one who came in and filled, I won't say replaced, because, you know, Masu was going up. It was a promotion.
Right, yeah.
So he came in and filled the spot. And so, yeah, they got a decent amount of time, you know, playing versus and kind of on the same organization. So we'll see. Definitely get some good respect there, especially after game number 1. Little bit of exchange here is going to mean that the barriers are evened up. Crouchen takes a decent amount of damage afterwards, but don't underestimate Alistar's sustain either. So it is currently +1 summoner spell for DSG's bottom lane with the extra heal.
It must just be so nice to be able to breathe again without Ezreal Karma constantly just pelleting you with these skill shots over and over and over again. As Cryogen going to go ahead, take his first recall here. Masu making sure the entirety of that stacked up wave crashes into the tier 1 turret.
I thought you were going for pelted, but pelleted also kind of works, you know?
I really wanted to do pelted, but my brain wouldn't summon it, so I just made something up.
That works too.
Yeah,
just grab a handful of pellets.
Yeah,
bang, bang, bang. Got a bunch of ammo. Throwing like bird seed at him.
I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it worked because I was just making crap up.
Count it.
When you talk for a living, sometimes you got to make some crap up.
There you go.
As long as it's believable, as long as it sounds half decent, you're in the business.
Get some bucket of buckshot.
Yeah, there you go. Bucket shot.
Throwing it at him.
Kizno secures the top side. Scuttlecraft up here with his Vi. Griffin had already secured the bottom lane crab slightly earlier, so Griffin will be back out onto the rift just a little bit quicker. Does have his pickaxe in inventory from that first recall. You can see he picked up an extra health potion as well. Gakos is down to 400 HP up here in the top lane. We'll see if Griffin can do anything to affect this lane state. He is going to move into a tri-brush that is already warded up. Castle trying to get his distance here. Will go into his underground form, see those little blips in the fog, knows that Griffin is standing around nearby. Yes, Gakos does manage to hit Castle with the minion from Roar of the Slayer, but that's not going to do a whole lot.
Yep, and delays a little bit. Griffin moving over to Krugs, which doesn't really matter because your second clear is really quick, and so he can just smite Krugs and get over to Raptors as soon as they spawn anyway. So not too big repercussions for any of the time spent up there, or just like, you know, looking. Maybe he didn't have it warded or something. There would be an angle, but no such angle exists. So both junglers right back into their second clears. And we'll just get back to business as usual. Normal laning, Flowers. Does it feel nice? Just these quests have been doing their jobs. Everybody in normal lanes and junglers. Even with these Fey lights, I still feel like, you know, I feel very good about the role overall, honestly. And by the way, they did have some stuff in the patch notes about walking back some of the early yellow trinket timers. That buff, I thought immediately, like, that was, it makes it really easy to keep up plenty of vision with the cooldowns on the yellow trinkets being reduced early. Yeah. But they are walking that one back a little bit, so there might even be more room to play with before ganks early on for jungles in the future.
I do love me some League of Legends without lane swaps, my friend. It just feels, it just feels right. It feels like this is what Mark Merrill originally envisioned all the way back in the day in 2008 or whatever. Like, this is what it's all about right here. As FlyQuest, despite the fact that it's not as dominant as it was in the first game, they still have control over the bot lane here. Very slight lead in terms of farm after Sajed picks up what I would assume is most of this wave. It'll still be about a one-wave lead for Masu. Quad walks into the brush here. Call Me immediately finds a lot of damage onto the FlyQuest mid laner. Quad with a flash away, stays alive with 10 HP. Quad dancing on the edge of death with that one, but stays alive.
Woo, he almost fell off the edge there too. That was
he was teetering.
We could get a health point count right there. That must have been single digits. And then the flash just at the end. If you wait a second. That's level 6 for Griffin.
Yep,
Yoinks the
stole the
crab. Thank you very much. Because his mid laner had almost 0 HP, it's not going to mean he gets to use that level 6 advantage to instantly ult and go for a duel, but is nice to grab the crab all the same. And also is nice for Quad to be able to live.
Yeah, generally you like being able to live in League of Legends, as Call Me going down bottom lane here with a Realm Warp. Cryogen immediately ready with the Pulverize into the headbutt, disengage, and now flashes out so Sajed, Call Me, and Lions cannot catch up any further. So it does cost summoner spells here in the bottom lane. The flash from the Alistar, the barrier from the Jhin, but Call Me's attempt does not result in any kills here for Disguise. Nearly 7 minutes on the clock and still no first blood.
Yeah, props to both sides here. I think that's a good time to look for a play here from Call Me because they had chunked out mid lane. He had a couple extra seconds. I personally, by the way, think that the biggest change for the new season is home guards. You should be abusing permanent home guards. And so especially champions like Ryze, where you can just run, go base, run immediately down one of the other lanes, Realm Warp in, and you can make that play so quickly. And then get back to yours in time, no problem as well. You should be abusing that home guard speed, but also pretty well. Wait.
Quad in some trouble again, and this time he does not have the flash to try to get away. Nice use of the supreme display of talent. It was a supreme display of shove right there from Griffin. You're not going to get the big explosions on the wall, but you keep your mid laner alive. That's the second time Griffin has saved Quad. I did get an update from producers as well. The first attempt on Quad where he did have the flash, he lived with 6. So you were right, single-digit HP.
That was a supreme display of peeling, right there. Nicely done against the old peel. So yeah, some good defense from FlyQuest so far this game. And the first one was Cryogen. I was gonna talk about his peel on the Ryze play, which was a good Ryze attempt, but then also good peel from Cryogen, and it only costing an Alistar flash, I think is a very good price to pay because he has Hex Flash anyways. Masu here goes for a big 4th shot.
Yeah. Sajed not happy about the chunk that he just took to the health bar. 300 HP remaining on him. Also, while the camera was panned up towards the mid lane, you saw Call Me going for a recall that was interrupted towards the end of the channel from Quad, so messing with his tempo a little bit right there. Call Me has been trying to get active on the map, make these plays like you were talking about with the Realm Warp in the bottom lane on that good timing, but losing your recall can kind of slow down those aggressive tempo moves as Griffin has started up the Drake, but he's going to be found by Kizno. Griffin gets away, but he has to use his flash to do so. Now Quad's coming in, but he rode the Weaver's wall right into danger. FlyQuest grouping up behind him, trying to see if they can go in after Kizno. The curtain call opens up. Second shot hits Kizno. Third goes wide. Fourth also missing. Masu going to have to dial those shots in more in the future as FlyQuest and Disguise both look for something. Both walk away empty-handed.
Okay. Who's more empty-handed? Because
everybody's hands is empty.
Yeah, let's get a summoner spell check. Honestly, they're the same amount of empty. They both junglers had to blow their flashes. The Ocean Dragon is so dangerous to start up in situations like that where lanes can collapse with, ultimates like, Talia, wall and stuff like that, since the slow. But take a look at the Grubs follow-up. Round number 2 here does look like Griffin says, fine, you can have them.
Yeah. Griffin, he took the blast cone over the wall. Upon seeing Kizno start to charge that Vault Breaker at him, he says, all right, my bad. Hops back over, just goes back to farming his camps. So Kizno will acquire the Grubs for his team. And this kind of fits into what you were talking about in Champ Select. They want to make the map very wide. They want to play sides. They want to play split. You've got Rek'Sai and Ryze. Void Grubs will feel great for that.
Exactly. Definitely agree in this scenario with this team comp and what they want to accomplish. Now, the other thing that we mentioned they want to accomplish is get Bard roaming around to use his 6 to, burn people's flashes, namely the Talia. I mean, honestly, you could just do it in lane 2 and try and, if they can get pressure and burn Masu's flash, either the Talia or the Jin's flash are primary summoner spells here for DSG to try and burn through. And they can then bring Kizno with the Vi ulti. Because, as you know, the dangerous part of Vi ulti is when your targets have flash. So, get somebody else
flash you under a turret or something? It's like, well, okay.
Get somebody else to burn the flash, and then you got some safe, good targets to go after.
Dragon still alive from earlier, like you were talking about. That slow spit from the Ocean Dragon makes it so deadly
sticky
to go
spit.
near. Yeah, he's got old, nasty dragon spit. Just so hard to walk through if you're trying to deal with them. The Phallites are down here. The little fairies don't want anything to do with the spit either. Nobody wants to deal with this slow debuff from the dragon. But Griffin,
that's
again,
why he's green.
What's that?
Hawking loogies at you.
Yeah,
the green
exactly. It's dragon boogers. Nobody wants that. FlyQuest are just trying to get him off the rift so he can go work on his hygiene or something. Disguised, thinking about maybe challenging here for this yet again, but no, FlyQuest is not going to overcommit to the Drake. I feel like we really have ourselves a standoff here, Kobe. Nobody's willing to be the ones who make a move that's too aggressive that gets punished, and we're still sitting at 0-0 on the scoreboard nearly 12 minutes in.
Yeah, honestly, props to DSG here after game number 1. I wouldn't blame you if you were worried that game number 2 would go a similar direction and would be another speed run, but completely different scenario here for DSG.
Yeah, Gekko's has his Sunfire fully completed already, considering he's up against an AD lane opponent in the Rek'Sai and also an AD jungler in the Vi. Having that big armor item feels really, really good early on. It's going to make it very difficult for them to try to kill him, and that is your power spike moment. So MasterCard card holders can click on the link pinned in chat for their chance to win $50 in RP. Probably not enough to buy yourself a real Sunfire cape, but hey, it's a down payment.
How much do you think a real Sunfire
Probably a lot if it actually catches on fire.
Yeah. You can't 3D print that because it's not going to be fireproof. So.
Right, yeah, you can't 3D print fire. That would be really cool if you could. I would do that. In-game.
It'll be expensive.
All right, FlyQuest with their top laner feeling good, feeling comfortable up there. Griffin's going to move through his own jungle, but Kisno's already waiting for him. The Realm Warp is about to arrive. Call me! Right there, he shows up as soon as the call is placed, and DSG are on the board.
Nice from Kisno here. He immediately went into ultimate animation as soon as as the Q bump finished, and so even though there's a small window for Griffin to cast his ultimate to try and self-peel, Vi is already in her ult animation, immunes the knockback, gets the pick, and the follow-up from Calm here already immediately coming over as well. Nice little play from DSG. Flowers, those are the types of picks that they're going to have to be able to execute on.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Vi makes the play. Rise gets a little bit fed off of it. He's already got his Rod of Ages stacking, and he's working on his tier. It's about 3/4 of the way charged up into that 360 max, where he'll be able to get the Seraph's Embrace as soon as he has all the other components. So Call Me set up in a good spot here. I think that his Azir in game number 1 was very underwhelming. The ultimates weren't where they needed to be in terms of the accuracy or the timing there in the team fights. So being able to have sort of a redemption game here on the Rise, if they can get him rolling, would be great. Not just for, obviously you need to have a good game to go to a game 3, but just for team morale, for personal, just like feeling in the zone, feeling like you're locked in. Call Me set up for some good success here.
Yeah, make sure there's no tilt.
Exactly. PMA, positive mental attitude.
That's our motto here.
Exactly. All about the mental. Got to stay focused, as we do have our next dragon not spawning for another 3 minutes because it took so long to kill that ocean dragon earlier. It means that the Drakes are going to stack very slowly here this game. 30 seconds on the clock, though, until the Rift Herald spawns. If you're disguised, do you want to scrap for this?
I mean, it depends on the lane assignments, because I really want to keep making picks. I really feel like DSG, Bard Ultimate is ready to fire off, so maybe we go for a dive.
How about a pick on the quad right there? Disguise just sends in the hit squad, takes out the enemy mid laner. 2 times this game, they've already tried this. 2 times they fell short, but now the 3rd time's the charm. Disguised get their pick 5 seconds before the Herald spawns.
And they knew, because they have a trail of pink wards. Look at it, 3 pink wards. Pixel Brush, Tri-Brush, and the brush right behind the tower. So they dropped 3 pink wards here to make sure nobody can see them. And nice little wrap around here. Go for the quick dive. They hit the Q into Bard stun, get their kill, then you can get an objective. Good bounce back game here for DSG. Response though, because Quad has revived.
Yeah, FlyQuest is wanting to answer here at the Rift Herald. Kisno is very low. The Herald is going to go over to the Vi, but now it's already 1 kill for the FlyQuest side. The eyeball is being protected. Despite the fact that Kisno was able to claim the objective, they can't get the reward. Call Me tries to get away, but the Realm Warp ends up being his grave. FlyQuest take 2 kills. They guard the eyeball all the way until it's self-destruction, so Disguised will only get the small monetary and EXP reward of killing the Herald.
So that was such an early smite. from Griffin, maybe they had wanted to like combo force shot and smite, but the force shot had just been used. So yeah, so Masu has force shot right here, so he pops it, and then they smite, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just, you know, queue back in to be able to get the Herald. But Flowers, was that a 5-head bait? Was that a, oh no, I early smited.
He lost the Herald, oh no.
It would be a shame if you came and then smited this Herald away from me, bah, 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 and then they jump on him and kill him.
Well, they definitely got themselves caught back up on the kill scale. 2-2 now, 16.5 minutes on the clock with the next Drake spawning in under 30 seconds. Disguised are looking to seize control over the bottom side river because right now, besides that Scuttlecrab vision, they have it.
I really want to get a comms listening, because if so, I love that.
If that was actually the bamboozle the entire time?
I love baits like that, you know, where you're trying to use like low health towers or, you know, objectives and stuff like that. And especially objectives like the Rift Herald, which, I mean, there's good value in a Rift Herald with the turret plates being able to give you guaranteed gold as long as you land it. But let's take a look at this dragon fight instead. The setup here, DSG on it. Watch out for Gatghost though.
Yep, the Scion is very, very tanky at this point in time. He's got the Quest teleport for the massive shield here, as well as the Drake is claimed by Kizno and Disguised. Griffin trying to get himself away, but a nice Tempered Fate locks him up. Plenty of damage back the other way onto Kizno, but he's not dead yet. Now he is going to fall. Both junglers out of the picture as Call Me dies to Quad off on the right here at the same time. Masu under pressure. Castle looking for the kill, but he won't be able to find it. Deadly Flourish locks him up. FlyQuest beats him down. Masu with a kill as Quad is stuck, but it's Disguised who now have to be careful. The roar of the Slayer slows him down from Masu's bullet to find the mark. LYON's running straight towards the crusty turret, and it will mark his crusty grave. An ace for Gatghost and FlyQuest. Dragon be damned, they got all 5.
All right, we're gonna get a replay here. Does Griffin just think his Q is gonna do more damage? Because he ults in and then tries to go for the dragon again, but it's gonna be another secure on the objective for Kizno, for Vi. Both junglers end up dying anyways. And end up going down afterwards, but the dragon pickup there is decent for them, is nice. Yeah, you know, then they're trapped in. It is gonna be flash over from Lions to be able to get the extra kill picked up on their way out. FlyQuest, again, they do get more kills, but that's 2 dragons, sneaky, stacking up here for TSG. Maybe I think Guard's kind of laughing at some of these smites, some of these objectives.
The right side of that fight was a 1v1 early on between Call Me and Quad. Quad ends up winning by flashing over the wall and then throwing out the Unraveled Earth, meaning everybody on DSG has to overcommit to finish the kill. Now Quad does get picked off here in the side lane. Call Me and Lions working together to grab that kill for themselves, brings the FlyQuest mid laner to 3-3 on kills and deaths. Call Me wants to knock down this tier 1 turret. Cryogen is waiting nearby, but the Alistar alone cannot stop this, so Disguised will pick up the first turret of the game 19 minutes in.
And it does go to the Rise, which is good because their plan is split pushing Flowers, you know, and making these picks. So they make another good pick. They do continue split pushing. They get more money on the Rise. But I foresee the future Dragons and team fights still being something that they're going to have to overcome. Alistar is far chasing this guy.
Yeah, he's got a TP coming in trying to help him. Meanwhile, the mid lane tier 1 is under pressure. Weaver's Wall from Quad to cut off Call Me's escape. He flashes away from the seismic shove. He wants his Realm Warp, and the timing is perfect so that the Alistar headbutt doesn't connect with the Rise model before the Realm Warp triggers, and that means the Rise gets away. Call Me is safe. Cryogen and Quad's plan is foiled.
Good escape there. Well, rest of the map's fairly calm farming over here, but that is going to make it a little bit more difficult to split push. No flash for the Rise. I mean, Realm Warp is super local outside, doesn't really matter, but the flash investment, maybe this is an area here now for FlyQuest. Cryogen is right back on the top side of the map. They got to pick themselves. FlyQuest get the kill. Immediately here, Lions is down. Masu able to use his ult to follow up and get the kill. Money into Jin as well. This is dangerous territory.
Ooh, Masu now could be the one in danger as Kizno has found his way onto the enemy AD carry. Sajed finally joins in with a killer instinct. Now Cryogen with a flash over the wall, pulverized, but Sajed gets away with a nice flash of his own. So Disguised, they'll find their pick to make it an even trade after their support gets found in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, Masu down here, no barrier. He didn't actually get the chance to use his flash there. Sajed, meanwhile, using both ultimate and flash for the investment on this kill. And Dragon is a minute away, a little bit over a minute 15 seconds here for it. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for this. I'd say Rise, keep split pushing on top side. They do, at the very least, have one ward in that red quadrant of the jungle, so he's trying to keep up some pressure up there. Of course, it's a little bit dangerous without your flash, but he doesn't have too much to be worried about. So try and get the early shove up there first. Get your reset right back down to the other side, and just actually swap the Rek'Sai top. Rek'Sai with teleport available. So Rek'Sai here has the teleport available, so you can split up there, no problem, and just wait for the arrival of this Dragon number 3. Meanwhile, Quad's gonna have to back off from pushing that top side, as he does not have his flash cooldown. Actually, has his ult to work with, so with Taliyah passive speed, surfing close to walls, and having the ultimate.
Ooh, hold on now. Kizno and Call Me fighting back against Gatgos and Griffin as a TP arrives for DSG. Defensive ulti from Gatgos. Gets himself away from danger, but is knocked below half health. Will have his teleport with that enchanted mega shield from the quest to bring him back into the fight if he needs it. Kizno still looking around, seeing if maybe there's an opportunity there to go after Quad. This is Soul Point. If Disguise can guarantee that they get it, Decimating Smash from Gatgos, not going to find anything. Was hoping Disguise might have been a little bit too arrogant in their movement. Try to just face check into the brush. They won't do so here just yet. Cryogen goes in for the headbutt pull. Only finds it onto the Rek'Sai. Now with a Tempered Fate marking Griffin as gold. They take their chance to go in. Griffin and Quad now under a little bit of pressure as Kizno and Castle were diving in, trying to find the kill, but Gatgo's locking up Kizno, looking to take down the Vi. He can't quite kill him here just yet, and finally gets the snap Q to do it. Now Sajed's behind enemy lines. The Kaisa cannot find the assassination here just yet as Castle kills off Griffin. The curve call is opened up, but Sajed has superior artillery, and he finds the Void Seeker to kill off Masu. Gatgos and Cryogen still looking to see if there's anything else they can find. Castle still in the enemy jungle, thinking about maybe if he can get away. Quad is not going to get got just yet. Unraveled Earth plus Cryogen work together to take down the enemy top laner. It's a bloodbath here in the mid-game team fight.
Oh my goodness, that was quite the scrap, Flowers. You gotta keep your eyeballs on like 3 separate areas of the map to keep track of this team fight. Okay, so bottom side, they go for the engage. Bard ult only hits the Kiana here. On the top side, you're gonna see Kizno and Castle try and go for the kill onto Quad again. They followed up with a knockup, but Griffin got his ult off for Peel. Meanwhile, on the other side, on the left side, Masu had to flash away from Sajed, and Sajed tries to go for the kill on him here, but he's able to survive anyway for the side of Masu, and then they blast cone out. It's kind of a wraparound, Flowers, and you're getting the kill here. Opens up the Jhin ult. You're stuck in place, and he knows where you are, so it's an easy snipe there. Sajed gets the W, and we get Hex Gates while at the same time as Magical Journey the other way, and people just porting all over the place, and you got the crisscross.
Oh,
wait it.
We're not done yet. Quad and Cryogen going in looking for Sajed this time. A Tempered Fate's going to buy the Disguised AD carry only a moment longer as Griffin and all of FlyQuest collapse to guarantee the kill. While we were in the replay, FlyQuest also secured that third Drake, so Disguised is not on Soul Point. Their stack has been stopped. Kizno is currently in a very compromised position. If he gets caught here, this is potentially Baron for FlyQuest. That is a massive blunder from Kizno getting caught at this point in the game. It's 20 seconds on Sajed. It's 35 on Kizno, and FlyQuest are going to start up the Baron. Quad just trying to keep Call Me away. Lions looking for any opportunity to slow this down enough to force FlyQuest off. Castle moving around from the side here, but not really finding a whole lot of anything just yet. FlyQuest do seem a little bit uncoordinated. Gatgos now arriving back into the fight. Baron's down to half HP, but FlyQuest are so low, particularly Griffin, that they don't want to risk sticking around any longer, so Disguised will successfully prevent the Baron.
So I want to go over that from Kizno, because given the situation where Sajed just got picked off and you have no AD carry, there is some threat here. So he's probably thinking, I need to get, into a sneaky spot back here behind Baron. Thank you, Observers, actually, for showing this ward, because this is what I want to highlight, and that's the area Kizno was walking into. You have to get used to, though, in the current patch with this new, Phaelite spots, that is a extremely common spot for opponents to have warded. That spot that was up by Krugs, and you see there's a control ward there, and that's the control ward that did see Kizno and led to the jungler getting picked off after the Kai'Sa, and so it's just something you have to get used to, where like there's some really common warding spots now that you kind of have to count on when you're going for these like, oh, you know, I got to play a little risky right now, and I got to like threaten Baron steals or something like that.
Important to note, we also saw a Tempered Fate fly out towards Cryogen, a Realm Warp that was going to arrive directly on top of it. So Cryogen had to flash away defensively on the Alistar. We know how powerful flash, headbutt, pulverize combos are for just snap starting a fight. So that's an important tool that FlyQuest will not have. Even if there's not another fight until 2.5 minutes from now for the next Drake, Cryogen's flash should still not be prepared for that fight, or if anything, just then coming up off of the cooldown. So I want to see if Disguise can find any sort of a punish for this. There is Bandle Pipes plus the Zeeks for Cryogen. The Alistar is honestly feeling pretty strong.
Yeah, and then if they're able to ward up the brush like around Dragon Pit, then it makes it hard for the Alistar to like get in a good spot for a Hex Flash or anything. So if you don't have your real flash, it definitely is going to take away a lot of threat there. And if DSG can split push effectively, and then they can utilize that to try and get vision set up in their favor.
So one thing that I'm also seeing here for the next fight, Seeker's Arm Guard unbroken on Sajed's Kai'Sa. We've been seeing him absolutely unafraid with his killer instincts, and this is going to make him even more fearless if that is possible. He will be flying into the back line. They will be trying to get those assassinations onto Quad or onto Masu, and it's also that much harder for somebody like Griffin to achieve his goal of bursting down the Kai'Sa if he finds the angle. But now it's Calmy who ends up getting caught here in the side, just chain CC'd straight to death, and Griffin takes the kill.
Yeah, Griffin on 3 items here punishes the split push right over the wall. Nicely set up. It's Griffin punish right into an easy seismic shove follow-up, and they just delete the rise. They take away any of that side lane pressure, and starting up Baron already here. Sion is a giga tank, so Sion can tank that thing, but they're sacrificing their mid tower. DSG, not too shabby of a response there. They get the mid tower and then come over for the contest.
Yeah, DSG taking out the tier 2, now trying to wrap around and find their entry into this fight. Masu is alone away from the rest of the team up here in the top lane.
Flash.
Tempered Fate onto the top laner and jungler of FlyQuest is now they want to try to burst down Griffin, and they've already killed him. Sajed takes the kill. The Baron's down to 3,000 HP. Lots of damage into the FlyQuest players already as Quad have to go gold just to stay alive. Disguise may have found their fight. Castle takes Quad out of the picture, and Disguise kill 2 and take the Baron. Cryogen's about to die now for a third. What a massive swing for DSG.
DSG are on top now, Flowers. They've got Baron buff for the split push team. They're going to destroy the map. Oh my goodness, they dissect them. Baron is burning them low right now, shredding everybody. Bard ult sets it up so you get instant knock-up from the Rek'Sai into the Vi follow. And even though they try and peel there and seismic shove, and you've got like Jin bullets are flying over the top, that's not, you know, that's not real threat, Flowers.
No.
And so they effectively are able to keep the Baron leashed while winning the fight. And just move back over to Baron, finish that thing off because they immediately deleted enemy jungle. Really nicely focused here. They kill off the Kiana and then Viol right over to the Talia. Now we're looking again.
Yeah, Griffin wanted to go in there for the supreme display of talent, but he misses. Disguised already, and now they're hitting back. Cryogen's likely to die here. Deadly Flourish flies out, not really going to find a whole lot to try to protect the support. Tempered Fate locks up Gak, goes the tier 2 turret down here in the bottom lane, just barely standing. One auto attack honestly should just be able to finish the thing off. Really huge moves coming out from Disguise. They are not slowing down just yet. That Baron fight, Masu being isolated up there in the top lane by himself where he couldn't approach. Meanwhile, Sajed is in the pit, firing at Kathian Reigns at everything around him. The difference in the way that the 80 carries were allowed to play was massive. And now Disguise with their 5v4 for the next 10 seconds are knocking in the front door of the FlyQuest base. The tier 3 turret in mid lane is down.
Restart that hype train for DSG. Flowers. The train is back on track after a slight detour from game number 1, getting blasted.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, but it shows good mental, Flowers. The good mental here. They were not perturbed by game number 1. Immediately back on track here in this game. that Baron defense from them. Nicely focused, you know, surgical removal there of the targets. Delete the jungler, then immediately vial over to the Taliyah, and they got a lot off of it. Huge gold swing off of that play, and it's Dragon Soul that will be arriving in just about 3.5 minutes here for DSG.
Well, it's not just the Dragon Soul spawning in 3.5 minutes, my friend. It's the next Baron spawn as well, and this always creates very interesting situations. You brought it up in game number 1 when the shoe was on the other foot for FlyQuest being at Soul Point, where it's just like, if you're the Soul Point team, you can say, all right, you'll get the Dragon, I guess. We'll just take Baron, right? And that's not an even trade when they're not getting a Soul for that Drake. We'll see how Disguise wants to play it. Kizno forced to flash away from a seismic shove that would have certainly been his death as FlyQuest scrambled to defend their base now. Disguise wants to make a multi-pronged attack with the remaining little bit of time they have on their Red Bull Baron. It's up to a plus 5,000 gold Baron power play. You talk about the swing being huge, and that is the evidence right there.
All right, let's see if they can finish the job then, because swings are fun, Flowers. Yeah. You're happy when you're out there and there's not a lot of defense, but FlyQuest, they still have the possibility of going for a big team fight at either the Dragon Soul or the Baron. I mean, you basically, you want to keep the vision on Baron and then have the pressure towards the Dragon. Mm-hmm. And Dragons, the last Dragon is fairly tanky now. They buffed up the tankiness of the Dragons by way of the debuff when every Dragon that you take makes the consecutive ones that much more reduced damage taken. Yeah, beefier. And so it's not like going to be an instant take for mine. I guess still pretty fast. It's a Dragon, it's not Baron. But it does give the possibilities here for FlyQuest to, use like Scion ult into Kiana ult and still have the capabilities of winning a team fight. So while DSG, the hype train has been restarted, they are definitely not out of danger yet. FlyQuest still definitely have the capabilities to win a team fight in order to win the game.
The biggest 2 individual advantages in this game right now. Castle's Rek'Sai up 2,000 gold. Sajed's Kai'Sa also up 2,000 gold. Fully completed Zhonya's Hourglasses on both the carries for Disguise to be able to get them out of being the primary target for the FlyQuest burst, alongside the fact that this is now Mythic difficulty rise. Kobe, he has his Actualizer alongside 2 GG tier mana items. He's got the Seraphs, he's got the Rod of Ages. The Actualizer turns this guy into a monster if he's able to Gatling off some spells during that short activity window. It means that FlyQuest has got to all be on the same page when they make these engagements. They can't be having haphazard fights like the one around Baron where they just got bursted down, where Masu wasn't able to contribute. Disguised is really challenging FlyQuest in this one. Yeah, game number 1, it sucked. 15-1, whatever. Game number 2 is a whole different game, and FlyQuest is this close to losing it.
Yeah, I mean, we got the comms listening after that game number 1. DSG were able to literally laugh it off. They were joking about the scoreline and Kizno having the single kill and being a beast. And honestly, Kizno's done a lot of work this time around too. His smites, getting a lot of these objectives, with the Herald the Dragon, and of course the Baron was uncontested. But now he's picked.
Up there on the Kizno, right as we're talking about the Tempered Fate keeps him alive for a little bit longer. FlyQuest need to try to get this kill. Ulti from Kizno to try to buffer through some of the CC, but he still dies to supreme display of talent. Castle wrapping around from behind, going after Griffin, takes him out. Now Gakko's absorbing some of the damage from the Rise, but the Actualizer is actually crazy. A double kill for the Rise. It's Call Me, and there ain't no maybe. This man is definitely that Rise that FlyQuest have to fear. Quad tries to escape. Seismic shove defensively. Flash away. Call Me gets the kill anyway. Cryogen and Masu trying to escape, but Castle is on the hunt. Masu forced to run back outside of the walls of his own base. It's only the FlyQuest bottom laners alive. Disguised, looking to push towards the Nexus and take us to a game 3. Disguised, forcing Masu completely out of any sort of defensive position. Cryogen wants to try to do something here, but Castle's already killed Masu. It's Cryogen against all of Disguised, and now not even he stands alone. And Ace goes over to Call Me, and Disguised are going to answer FlyQuest in game 2. We're going to a game 3.
Ooh, DSG giving us a series in exciting fashion there at the end. Call Me really pumping, and he flashes in to secure effect on it and their possibilities of coming back. But honestly, yeah, see if they can do it. Game number 3 here as they're discussing, trying to get right back into Champ Select. And we will do so. Now it starts to get fun. Game number 3 of Fearless, taking out a few more of those primary picks.
So FlyQuest have chosen first pick, and Disguise selected red side. So just what you're used to from a decade and a half of watching League Esports here in this one. Bans are underway. Pantheon and Nico banned out by FlyQuest. Remember, Jarvan is the other one they've been banning out in these first ban phases. Jason Varus remain banned by Disguised.
I personally, as Fearless gets deeper, I get more and more excited for mid lane. Because mid lane, I'm always like, okay, we're going to get the, Azir Orianna trade. Now we're going to get the Talia Rise trade. And but after you get those 2 trades out with Fearless, then you start to have some fun. Okay, Akali's still banned, so they're not letting Call Me have that much fun, because he did have a very good week 1 Akali. But you get to play a lot more, and you're in the tier of like, Ahri and Galio and Aurora type champions for mid lane. Yes, there's still Victor if you want to play a control mage, but like Yone comps can come out. Ambessa here though, when Rumble's already taken out, Ambessa with Renekton up for the lane counter is a little bit dangerous. And Castle definitely very confident in that matchup, but seems like Gakkos is too, because they know what's up and they're like, fine, yeah, you could have the Renekton into it. Gakkos is just that confident that he's not going to lose lane very hard, and then you get to be Ambessa later on.
Well, we will have that Renekton locked in alongside the Aphelios here for Disguised. I did point it out earlier when I mentioned the bans. It has been Jarvan banned alongside that Pantheon in both the previous games in the first half of the bans from FlyQuest. But the Jarvan is conveniently absent from the ban list here in game number 3. We'll see if that one gets locked by either side, as Aurora, one of those champions that you name about the mid lane pool, is locked in, but it won't be going mid lane this game. Indeed, it looks like we're going to get jungle Ambessa with top lane Aurora from FlyQuest.
Interesting. Griffin is a huge Ambessa player, so not all junglers can jungle Ambessa, but Griffin loves doing it. He likes that, Riven, all these types of high mobility carry junglers. Yeah. So honestly, people are going to get what they paid for with their tickets here to watch Griffin, because these are the types of champs that you come and you really want to watch Griffin on, is these big carry champs like Ambessa. So we're actually not getting the Ambessa Renekton matchup. That's why they did it first pick.
It's a bait.
Yeah, this is a flex pick for us. Not all teams are. A lot of teams are, but some, it's like more respectful than others.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd say Griffin is one of the junglers that has 100% like full confidence in these types of champs. So very excited to see. Anyways, you already mentioned as well, it's combined with Aurora. I think Aurora and Syndra are very good solo laners to combine this carry champ with, because they both have very good setup. The Aurora slow, it's not hard CC, but like it is very good CC. That and the ulti. So there's definitely a lot of positions where you can set up there, and Syndra obviously has very, very good long stuns. So I really like the opener here from FlyQuest.
Plus, it's even that less specific synergy of just, okay, I've got 2 powerful AP solo laners, and I've got a high damage AD jungler. Even without individual names on those champions, that combo always feels pretty powerful together. It's very hard to itemize against that and survive the ganks if they're set up properly. Second half of the bans coming around, though. There is Jarvan banned out by FlyQuest just a little later on in this one. Meanwhile, Disguised is going to focus on the bottom lane, since that's what FlyQuest have yet to draft. They'll remove the Lucian for the early power and the mid-game control, and also get rid of that Lulu that can just make everything so damn hard to kill.
Yeah, annoying Lulu for expected hyper carry on the other side, I guess. Lulu does also enable melee carry champs to some degree. And Ambessa can get far away from you sometimes when she ults and gets kind of deep in team fights and is moving around. But that ulti from Lulu is always very helpful there, and trying to help out the melee carries too. So let's take a look. How are they going to round this one out with the mid lane on the side of DSG? Currently hovering over some jungles though for Kisno, some options, but kind of expecting them to go mid since Syndra is already showing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so they do follow it up with the Yone. That was one of the fun ones that we mentioned earlier. So we do get some kill pressure style lanes where Nautilus, I think Nautilus might be one of the most important players in this whole game.
Okay.
Because Nautilus ultimate is extremely good versus what FlyQuest are showing, and it's going to have to be like, can you get a timing window where Nautilus gets to roam mid to go set up the Yone, and then can Nautilus go like, shut down the jungle invade where they're going with the Ambessa and use the point and click on the Ambessa. So like the Nautilus ult is a very, very high priority ability here, either ganking for mid lane or trying to fight jungle. And we'll see if Lions is up to the task. He's going to have to play into that rel.
I liked Lions' Bard in the previous game. I think he had some good tempered fates, bought a lot of time. The binding in the Baron play that ultimately ended up being the throw, setting up for that tempered fate was great. FlyQuest locking in that rel that you mentioned in the support role. I like this because it does give you a true engage. You mentioned how Syndra and Aurora both have good setup for a lane gank early on in the game for their Ambessa, but it's not like the true big AoE engage. That's where rel comes in, and Masu will be on the Senna for that scaling and range potential. Final pick of the draft does have to be the jungler for Disguised, and we will get Diana for Kizno.
Okay, so it's not quite Diana Yasuo, but it's Diana and Yasuo's brother.
Yeah, it's close.
And they still work really well together. They still have very big combination ults. So we got Nautilus plus Diana plus Yone engage Flowers. That they are cooking some heavy engage to try and take down some of these slippery, more squishy champions on the side of FlyQuest. Same token though, we mentioned like, Lulu helping out melee carries a little bit. Senna is an AD carry that helps out melee carries substantially. The healing and shielding coming from Senna to help out Griffin in the attempts at jungle carry here, I think will be really, really important. And we can see what build Masu goes with, because some people have really been cooking with the Senna builds on the new season. So we'll see how fun this is. Honestly, I'm really liking this draft. Game 3 of Fearless, you always feel like is going to deliver.
Yeah.
And this one seems to be fun.
I mean, going further and further into the draft in Fearless, to me, always just makes things more fun because you get to see more. You get to see what the team is really made of. Of course, you're going to be able to play the best stuff in the meta at any given time. Otherwise, what are you doing playing pro in the first place? I want to see how deep those champ pools go. Is it an entire lake ready to be swam in by those who are victorious on the Rift? Or is it just a lousy little puddle that only has 2 champs in it? That's what we got to prove to ourselves. If Disguise can get the win here, if they can start off their split in 2026 going 2-0, that would be such an incredible beginning of the 2026 competition for this team. FlyQuest also would love to start 2-0 with this rebuild year after all of the hype that they had in 2025 that ultimately fell short. So I feel like both of them really got to be locked in here for this third game.
Definitely agree. All right, going for the Raptor ward here. Call Me now has to take some damage to get back to lane, though. Okay, nice. Quad lands the Q. So that's your payment for the Raptor ward. So they know that, Griffin at the very least is not starting on Raptors. And presumably that means he's starting up on the top side and is going to path down towards bottom. Okay. And they're going to have the extra info.
We asked this question back in game number 1. And in game number 1, I think a lot of people that answered yes probably wanted to change their vote by the end of that game because it was such a stomp for FlyQuest. But then in game number 2, DSG just showed us an entirely different look. They looked way more coordinated. They survived the lane phase way better. So we want to ask the question again now, does Disguised have what it takes to finish top 4? Can they be a top half team in the LCS by the time we send somebody to first stand? We'll see what y'all have to think.
I like it. Keeping track. We've run a version of that poll each game.
Well, right now, it's people having less faith than before.
Well, they're just starting out, okay? They're just starting out. The game 1, maybe it left some scar tissue.
Oh, true. Okay, well, the number was going the down direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it left some scars. Yeah. No, we'll check back in later. All right.
Chat does not forget.
Yeah.
The game 1.
You don't want to watch the numbers, Flowers.
Okay. All right. We just got to let them ride.
Yeah.
Just let the numbers roll as Quad's going to try to get as much damage early on as he can. Just try to use the range advantage on Call Me. Keep this guy pressured. Once Yone gets to full build with Vamp Scepter and Berserker Greaves, the lane can become significantly more difficult for ranged champions, especially once he's level 6 and can close that gap easier. So you really got to try to bully this guy off the playground from the moment he gets to school.
Yeah. And we mentioned, yeah, Yone level 6. Also, when Diana gets level 6, very, very scary. Because especially with Diana being one of the really strong Dusk and Dawn users.
Such a good item.
It is such a good item on the champions that it is good on, that have passives that make it effective. And Diana certainly is one of those champions, so we'll get to see that on full display. Kisno here, assuming he's rushing Dusk and Dawn. And then we'll see once they get to their level 6s, what type of stuff they get up to. Meanwhile, Masu down here on the bottom side, the Senna we're going over. I'm kind of assuming he's still going to go like the 80 carry build of this like static Shiv, and then maybe he would do a Black Cleaver for Griffin, because that is an option for 80 carry Senna. But there's been a lot of like, wait a second.
Okay, we've got a fight here for the disguised side Raptors as Quad is going to steal the big Raptor away. Griffin does end up smiting it as they both make their exit. Now, Griffin did have to commit his flash to make sure he didn't get caught there. A flash for a chicken camp is generally not the ideal trade.
No. I concur, Flowers.
From jungler to jungler, we agree on this.
At least you didn't lose the chicken and then have to flash out. So
yeah, that's disaster.
Yeah, and it's just the... Okay, wait a second. Nautilus ganking mid. That was another thing we were looking for in this game. Not going to result in anything, but I like the idea.
He was looking.
As we were saying, you know, if you can burn that Syndra flash. Unfortunately, Syndra also running Ghost. So Ghost, very effective at dealing with Nautilus ganks.
Yeah.
As long as the Yone hasn't landed an ult on you already, simple Ghost is going to go a long way there for him.
All right, Kisno is now returning the favor. He wants to contest Griffin's chickens. He goes in, but now he's got to be a bit careful about the counterattack from FlyQuest. A little bit of damage there from Quad with the Dark Sphere. As Kisno's down to 200 HP, he just walks this one back away. Doesn't have to use his flash.
Okay. But also didn't get the chicken.
Right. So which one would you rather be?
Well, I still have my flash. But we'll see. We'll see if it actually ends up resulting in anything. But definitely a very fun early moments here between mid jungles and chicken camps.
And one thing that's also different from the previous couple of games is because of the nature of the matchup, Aurora versus anything melee, Gakgos is off to a very early lead in the laning phase over Castle just because he's Aurora interconnected. In the previous couple of games, it's been Castle usually that's feeling perfectly fine in these topside matchups. He's either even or slightly ahead, but against Aurora, you practically have to go down early. As Lions, not going to take a little bit of damage, but he's not afraid. They're going to keep pushing forward now as Sajed gets some damage onto Cryogen too, so both supports take a chunk. Nobody's really that pressured. They do both pop their heals in that extended trade, though.
Yeah, and then Cryogen knows that he's going to have sustain with the Senna on his side. Took some splash damage there from the blue gun, though, as Griffin was walking by for the crab. All right, this is it, crab number 3.
All right, Griffin's going after it, but a nice use of the dredge line to grab Cryogen from Lions as the 2v2 in the bottom lane breaks out, but a ton of damage back on a Call Me. He's taking low, tries to use the Q3 to get away, and Kisno kills off Griffin for the first blood. Call Me still alive. He backs away once more. He doesn't have the Fate Seal because he already used it, but Disguised will happily take the first blood.
Flowers, this moment's going to go down in history. The team that won the smite on the third crab for the level 6 lost the skirmish.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's crazy. And then this week, I feel like we had multiple interviews with like Blabber and Dom talking to... Wait a second.
Q3 from Call Me. It forces Quad to take a sidestep so Kisno can show up and try to chase him down. Quad with the flash over the wall. Stays alive. Barely gets away from that one.
Really good escape from Quad there. Yeah, he does have to use his flash, but so do the enemies, both of them. All right, so he gets level 6, and then Call Me was able to juke the ulti from the Mbessa. So it's, yeah, he got to the level 6, but it didn't end up mattering because Call Me juked it, and then Call Me there had a beautiful Q through both of them to gain distance and live. So huge honors to Call Me in the outplay of this skirmish. And yeah, that one stings for Griffin because he got to his level 6 and he was able to level it up, but then it basically has very little value. You still get the stats and everything for level 6, which is nice. Right, but but the juke there from Call Me and then the Q through both of them afterwards as well, super nicely played by him. And Kisno gets to be Diana auto attacking and just slapping him there. So now he got up to his level 6 and It resulted in a couple of flashes from them. Remember, it was 2 for 1, so Quad was able to evade that Diana gank. And Kizno, no flash for the Diana, the next Diana ult.
And I really have to praise Calmy's response, like you're talking about, being able to dodge that perfect execution. Because he was such low HP by the end of that 2v2, if he's not ready for the flash on the ulti, he 100% dies there. Yeah. That's such a difference maker in just that execution of a single ability. And going back to the criticism that was rightly levied against him in game number 1, with the Azir plays not working out, he's definitely locked in as the series has gone forward. But now it's FlyQuest making a play in the bottom lane. It's LYONs, the victim of the gank from Griffin. FlyQuest will even this game up at 1-1. They're still about 1,000 gold ahead. There's another bottom side Scuttle Crab spawning for Griffin, so he'll be able to eat that one up, and we'll see where FlyQuest want to go with it.
Yeah, that's a really good timing window for FlyQuest. And a nice little bait there because they have Griffin right behind them in the jungle. They've got position, so an ill-advised engaged timing for LYON. He gets taken down, and it results in another crab take. It didn't result in the dragon getting taken, though, and Kizno's going to slip around the Scuttle Crab vision. Nifty little trick with any champions that can jump the wall. False sense of security with the Scuttle Crab vision, and dragon should be LYONs.
All right. They're going over for that dragon. Disguise has Kizno working on it. Calmy just trying to keep Quad occupied here in the mid lane. Doesn't want anybody from FlyQuest seeing what's going on down there. Ocean Drake is claimed. Meanwhile, Griffin will say, all right, you take dragon, I'll take the grubs. Doesn't feel as good as it did in 2025, but hey, that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes the patch is going to nerf certain things, buff some others. Gat up here in the top side is still the largest individual farm difference in the game, 92 to 69 of Castle. Over a 500 gold lead for the Aurora with no kills. Feeling pretty comfortable playing the lane the way he wants to play it.
And that's the whole benefit of their Ambessa flex bait at the beginning. You know, slamming the Ambessa first pick, knowing, yeah, Renekton is up. That's one of the most common attempted counters for lane counter. And then you just swap it into jungle and are able to get the counter yourself with the Aurora as you are going over. Calmy avoids the stun and can walk away.
And it's so important he did too, because Griffin's ulti just came back off of cooldown. So between the flash and the ulti coming off of cooldown, I think if that Scatter the Weak hits, Griffin can actually flash R and catch him before the CC ends, and then you could have a really scary proposition. So Calmy, again, he's just fine here on the Yone, is still working towards that first fully completed item as Quad just trying to farm up all the minions here. Lands a nice Scatter the Weak, Dark Sphere for the trade. Calmy's going to back away. FlyQuest still maintaining that 1,000 gold advantage. It's pretty much entirely just Masu and Gat that build that lead for them, but you're happy to have your Senna off to a good start. Gat doing the same on Aurora. The Static Shiv fully completed for Masu on the Senna is going to help with some of that, let's call it underwhelming wave clear that the champion has in its base kit, and that's just going to keep things farming very smoothly for the FlyQuest AD carry.
Yeah, that's almost always the rush item for the AD carry Senna, looking to deal with those minion waves, as you're saying. And the pressure is staying up, so they're actually going to be able to tap that turret plate as well down on the bottom side. Getting a couple of those knocked off. Some extra money, further funds for this FlyQuest team, increasing that gold lead fairly quickly after you're just taking stock. Meanwhile, look at Griffin, the minimap. He's hovering again. He wants to play Syndra Stun into Ambessa Ultimate, and bottom side, Cryogen, as we say, the swing and a flash. So
exactly. It's not a miss.
Yeah.
It's not a miss. It got something good. It gets the Sajed flash, and critically, you're not really worried about spending the Magnet Storm right there, because look at the timers in the top left. It's 3 minutes until the Herald. It's still 2 minutes until the Dragon. You're going to have the Rel ulti in time for what should be the next big fight, unless you just want to YOLO fight without ult for no reason, but that's a you problem. I don't really think that there's any reason not to go for a play like that. They'll take the flash from the Aphelios, and now if Ambessa does get bored looking for Yone in mid lane, she can go bottom lane for a flashless Aphelios and try to find the payday there.
Exactly. So maybe no more hovering around towards mid, but honestly, I think they might still because they still want to get that burst combo. And
I just want to kill Yone, man. That's all there is to it.
yeah, I feel like Flowers 100% of the time.
Just maybe sometimes, you know, just some triple-digit percentage times. You just want to do that. There's nothing wrong with
Kami's
that.
been quite good though, juking a lot of spells, piloting this Yone quite effectively so far in this game. Is going to have to take the recall though, and FlyQuest will get vision coverage leading up to this dragon area of the river. Minute and 20 seconds ahead of time. They've got plenty of vision already prepped. As you said, they also have the summoner spells prepped, with Aphelios having no mobility basically whatsoever now, with no flash and nothing inherent. Storm Razor does give you move speed, and they're going to go for a bot play themselves.
Yep, they drop the depth charge onto Masu. Calmy immediately arrives with the fate sealed. It lives up to its name. The shutdown even goes over to Sajet. The Aphelios gets paid. Masu gets buried. That's the execution Disguise wanted.
Yeah, nice ult there from Sajet, and then he's got his Gravitum lock up.
Oh no, Calmy though has now way overstayed with Griffin and Cryogen down here. They're looking to grab the punish onto the Yone, but a nice Magnet Storm coming out, tries to lock everybody up. Calmy does die. Griffin's still fighting. He gets a double. Griffin's about to make it a triple if Kizno didn't show up. Cryogen now gets away. Meanwhile, up here on the top side, Castle into the Dominus looking to deal with Gakdos. Oh, never mind. The fight's already over. I tried to go fast again, but there's just nothing to go fast for. Okay, everybody's going home.
And they back off, and they're clearing some wards. Oh, is he going to cancel the recall, though? There's a croc in the bush.
No. All right, there's no more croc in the bush.
There's no more croc.
Unlucky. All right, he's out of there. And Gakko's just going to get this wave shoved. Bottom side, though, Sajet at least did get that first kill. It looked like that was about to be highlight reel material there for Griffin if Kizno didn't show up. Castle almost has the kill on to Gakkos, and yeah, that one's going to round up. He'll take that kill.
Not respecting the teleport timing and the minion wave. If you are close to a minion wave, you're close to a slice and dice. So,
don't feel nice.
You know, good punish from Castle, and we're going to a dragon fight immediately.
Yep, Lions has to try to get away. Quad goes forward to try to get the execution here with the ulti, but he doesn't have enough damage to kill off the Nautilus. Now Calmy in the middle of everybody. Immediately snaps back with a soul unbound. Disguised, they're up 2 Drakes. FlyQuest is up about 1,000 gold, and they've got the 3 grubs. Honestly, after 15 minutes, Mr. Kobe, it's a pretty even game.
Yeah, Dragons one side, gold on the other side. I will say stacking Senna feels pretty good, but Aphelios is a hell of a late game carry, and they've got crazy burst combo with some massive AoE potential. As we said, with the Diana, the Yone, and Nautilus being able to start out fights. And you basically just want to create offensive space here, force Sajet, so he doesn't have to worry about defense. If your offense is that good and you're locking people up in some of these big AoEs in the CC,
oh yeah,
then you can take the early initiative. Griffin, though, he'll take the objective. Herald picked up, guaranteed money here for FlyQuest.
Okay, so the Herald they should be able to use to knock down one of these turrets. Still no turrets claimed so far in this game. Pretty much everybody is at their first item power spikes right now. So MasterCard card holders, you can click on the link pinned in the chat for that chance to win $50 in RP. Buy your very own Vamp Scepter so you can be just like Yone and win your lane after that big power spike. As Calmy going for the dive underneath the tier 1 turret. Gets a lot of quads health bar, but not the entire thing. Over the wall comes Lion, sets it up for the dredge line. Shield from the Dawning Shadow helps try to keep Quad alive, but it's not quite enough. Calmy and Lions get their mark and they get away.
Here comes the reinforcements as well. Griffin and Cryogen are on the way. Can they trap?
Ooh, Masu's very low. Moonlight Vigil doesn't hit him, very fortunately, because that would have been some scary stuff. Bottom side here, you can see Lions getting away, but Cryogen manages to take the kill onto Calmy. They would have rather had Griffin pick up that kill, but hey, kill's a kill one way or the other, so they'll send that one over to the Rel. Meanwhile, back up here in the top side, you can see Gakko still with the health advantage in the 1v1, while the Herald is summoned up in the bottom lane, looking to force down the tier 1 turret. Griffin staying alive for now, does hop into the Herald, but immediately the car crashes, and Kizno's found at the scene of the crime. He holds the smoking, it's not a gun, it's a moonsword thing, but he gets his kill, and Kizno's Diana's 2-0-1.
You know, critically something also he's not holding is a Dusk and Dawn. He went with the old build, the old standard Diana build with the proto belt to get the distance
He's
for the
preparing for the nerfs.
for the ulti, yeah. And honestly, the nerfs, it's just taking down the sheen damage, and then you get 50 health added to the item. So maybe not that big, but is just going into the older build with the proto belt into the Leandries. So going for that big team fight and not even like playing into Sheen proc double passive stuff. So you could tell the ideas from this team. They're thinking all about the combos and the big AoE because this proto belt into, oh, that's how he was able to create some space, and then they still go for it at the edge of the tower, still are able to get the kill and the ignite there. Tick, yeah, unavoidable sometimes. You just get those as a support.
Okay, well, we still have the same goal difference that we've had for so long. So despite the moves back and forth from either side, the state of the game has remained relatively the same. You do have second full item power spikes for both junglers now, as it's Sundered Sky plus Profane Hydra for Griffin, the Proto Belt and Leandries that you were talking about for Kisno, the old school style Diana. It's junglers first to their second item spikes, which is pretty funny. You can see Rapid Fire completed for Masu now, the Infinity Edge just now put together for Sajed. So if this Aphelios does get that free firing time like you were talking about earlier, if the rest of the team can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the best defense is indeed a good offense, Sajed is that offense.
Yeah, big crits from Aphelios, imminent. We'll see if they can actually pull it off. And Kisno, honestly, I have confidence in his setup. You know, his flash is coming up soon. Went for the Proto Belt build, went for the big AoE. We'll see if he can get the engage onto some of these slippery champions, because FlyQuest, there's a lot of opportunity to outplay when you've got Aurora and Bessa mobility, and especially the Senna here putting people in shadow. So a couple of options there for FlyQuest as well. I think Vision will go a long way, especially if they're able to get Rel into a good spot here. But regardless, the Dragon setup commences. 20 seconds and counting down right now.
All right, let's see if Disguise can hit Soul Point on this one, or if FlyQuest will be able to spoil it. Sajed gets tagged there by the Senna route, but no additional champions nearby for FlyQuest. Everybody else stepping into this bottom side river. They've got the control ward in the mid lane brush. Disguised hanging out in Banana Brush now as a three-man unit. Sajed making his way over to the rest of the team. You can see the TP coming in early for Disguised top laner. Castle has arrived into the mid lane. Gatghost is still back up there in the top side. FlyQuest grouped up as 4, but they got to be careful of the Renekton flank. Dragon down to 2,000 HP. FlyQuest stepping in. It's going to be stolen by Griffin, but into the back line goes Call Me. Now he's intercepted by Griffin. Between Worlds, Gatghost is buying so much space with the Dawning Shadow over the top. Quad grabbing the kill onto Call Me. A beautiful scatter of the week here yet again. Disguised are trying to fight back. Sajid with a kill onto Griffin. Quad and Gatghost looking for a little bit more. They'll slow down the Renekton. Cryogen continues his chase. Sajid is in danger. There's the scatter of the week. The cleanse will not matter. He's struck down as Quad wants more. Kisno and Castle try to get out, but Cryogen's ready on the flank. He stuns up the Renekton. He may just die himself. They want to try to turn it back around, but Cryogen's staying alive. Kisno's down. Double kill over to Gatghost. Ace for FlyQuest.
Disguised or not, FlyQuest will chase them all down, Flowers. They get every kill. Look at this. Okay, so Yone is going to go into the back line, but then Griffin ults the Yone that had just E'd and ulted over there to get back to that side of the fight, and then they snipe him through. They finish off the kill, but look at this big damage. Sajed is able to still pump. He's got red, white guns. The Truck Rums, he's able to get kill back on his side, chop them down. Then, of course, even with the cleanse, not going to be able to get away from this one. I think this was a cooler chase down, though, because they go around the little Raptor pit here. Back onto Baron, though, Flowers. FlyQuest burning it through. It doesn't look like there's any steal opportunity. Diana very far away, but...
yeah. FlyQuest, though, look at the health bars. Quad and Cryogen are both at about half. The Baron's down to 3,000. Kisno's not here just yet. The Baron is going to be secured by Griffin, but what about the fight after? Lion's in the middle of everybody. Cryogen trying to keep everyone away. Griffin putting the pressure onto Sajed, and he's already killed him. Disguised AD carry down. Lions goes right back into his own grave. A double kill back to the Mbessa as Kisno goes golden, only to stay alive an extra half second. Call Me can't do anything here on the Yone. As Masu is under pressure from Castle, it's a triple kill back over to Griffin. The Mbessa is running wild. Castle's the only man standing. FlyQuest wanted a Baron. They're going to get an ace on the side. It's a quadra kill over to Griffin.
Griffin, the carry jungle you want, Flowers. Quadra kill for the Ambessa. He is the biggest goal difference on their team. They get the Baron. Look at the engage. All right, he's able to get the Baron himself, and then they turn right around. Ultimate onto Sajed. Even with Sajed flashing away, that means literally 0 to Ambessa. Infinite dashes there. Takes him out. What a snipe. Griffin here. I mean, the carry jungle experiment, Flowers. People in pro play, it is, I mean, it's becoming more common than sometimes in the past, but.
Good job.
Calm and cool.
Okay.
Calm and cool. And honestly, that was almost a penta because it was Quad and Griffin dealing the damage to Kizno at the same time, and Quad ended up getting that one. It was just a hair away from an Ambessa jungle pentakill for Griffin on that play, and FlyQuest now command a 7,000 gold lead with the Red Bull Baron power play active for another 90 seconds. Gakko's going to step up, try to deal a little bit of damage to Call Me here with the weirding, does tag him. Call Me forced to snap back there through the soul unbound as FlyQuest want to mount the pressure here with this Baron. The tier 2 turret's going to get the crust knocked off of it. Call Me, Griffin, everybody just showing up around here in this mid lane, disguised. They need to try to defend, but Call Me with the Yone has got to be so careful every time he steps up. Even with Soul Unbound, if you get CC'd, you might just get completely destroyed before you can snap back.
Yeah, there's plenty of damage here to back it up on the side of FlyQuest. Griffin holding down mid lane, buffing up those minions. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad takes the second tier 2. Bottom side, top side of the map, of course, Renekton is trying to get a little something back for the side of DSG, but it's just a mountain of gold here for FlyQuest.
And Gakko's went ahead and recalled, and Griffin was wrapping around the side. So if Castle did stay just a little bit longer, you could have had Gakko's hold him there in lane just a little bit. Griffin comes around on the flank, they get the pick. Castle wisely recognizes, hey, if they're backing away, I need to back away because they're going to send someone to go for the pick. So FlyQuest won't get anything further there. There's 10 seconds left on their Baron power play, likely not going to achieve anything more. So if you're disguised, you're at least happy to still have your tier 3 turrets intact after the Baron has washed away, but we have 30 seconds until the next Drake is live on the map. FlyQuest, since they stopped that third one, means the Disguised can't try to snag the soul here and re-equalize the game. FlyQuest have a 7,000 lead. It's very, very hard for Disguised to try to fight them in open ground on fair territory, so I feel like this is just free Drake for Fly.
Yeah, I mean, what Disguised need to do is try and fight them away from the Ambessa. Wherever Griffin is not, maybe you can try and pick a fight there. Because since Ambessa's ultimate makes her unstoppable and you can gain a large amount of distance, it's really hard for a wombo combo AoE team to fight a FlyQuest squad that is set up with a carry jungle Ambessa like this, but also has other damage dealing champions, because you still need to get a big AoE, wombo combo with this setup here for DSG, but it's really hard to then pin down Ambessa with all the mobility and with the ultimate afterwards. And so it's definitely very difficult, especially for the Aphelios, who doesn't get to move very much, but at least he'll have his flash back by their next fight, and maybe he can like flash the ultimate or something.
Okay, Disguised. How you can stabilize and get back into this game, I'm not entirely certain, because that 4,000 gold lead for Griffin is absolutely frightening. Plus 1,000 gold lead for Quad's Syndra, which now does have the Rabadon's Death Cap completed alongside the Cosmic Drive and the Blackfire Torch. There's so much explosive potential with this champion. Level 16 for the final level in his ulti, alongside the 120 splinters already collected, means that the damage is through the roof on this guy. Over on the other side, Castle at least does have his Spear of Shojin and Stridebreaker combo, so the Renekton can be kind of a threat. Gakko's with Between Worlds, tries to go right back in after Call Me. Masu's showing up here to try to help his top laner. Call Me in a 1v2, and he might just win it. He's got the first kill. Call Me does die, and Gakko's gets back away, making a 1-for-1 and a 2v2 down here in the bottom lane, but most of it was that 1v2 from Call Me, getting something that honestly FlyQuest shouldn't have given over to him, but now Griffin wants to get something back here in the mid lane. Public Execution forces the flash out of Sajed.
Yeah, good flash there. Have to use it on that ultimate this time around. Castle will be able to finish up the Tower of Flowers. You almost got to do another Call Me ambulance play over there.
Almost.
Yeah. Maybe call the ambulance very quickly for Castle.
Yeah, Gakko's is going to stop him here with a twofold Hex. Prevents the recall. Castle wants to try to get away, and he's going to go very far away to another plane of existence, actually. We'll see you in heaven, Mr. Crocodile. 50 seconds till he's back on Summoner's Rift, and FlyQuest will be happy with it because it's only 15 seconds until the Baron spawns again with Castle dead, with his teleport on cooldown, and it will remain on cooldown even once he resurrects. I feel like FlyQuest have to be looking towards this Baron pit.
Exactly, Flowers. Timing syncs up so nicely. Delay the death timer in the alcove. Now, Baron does take a while to burn, but they have so much damage. I want to see how quickly they can burn through this.
Okay.
They're getting some vision over the back. DSG being very, very cautious. It's still 13, 12 seconds left on Castle. So even with the Baron not going down super quickly or anything, seems like FlyQuest pretty easily have this one in hand, and the best that DSG can do is just split push with Yone.
Okay, Calmy's going to get whatever he can in the bottom lane because second Baron of the game goes over to FlyQuest. Over 8,000 gold ahead now. Calmy just utilizing that Soul Unbound, takes the first plate. Unfortunately, doesn't get the baby death mark on turrets, so just going to snap back, not trigger the second one, and looks like he's ready to take his recall. Does have the enchanted one primed, thanks to the mid lane quest, so he'll get out of danger before Ghost can really try to stop him. But FlyQuest, I feel like, Kobe, they've got all the tools they need to try to just go for their game-ending push with this Baron.
They certainly do. All right, they've got the Aurora going to go push mid, while the rest of them 4-1 the top side. We're gonna have a little face check here. Support versus top laner. Ooh, follow-up stun. I don't know if that's gonna get enough distance.
The crash down contains the Croc. Castle's really got to get all the way out of there now. Nicely done with Cryogen and Quad working together to force Castle back. That means that Disguised has no chance to try to defend this tier 2 turret here in the top lane. Remember that all tier 3s are still standing, but that is the final structure collapsing outside of the Disguised base. So now it is the siege ready to begin as FlyQuest have the 2 Baron Enchanted Cannon minions up here in the top lane. Just about ready to knock off that second plate, but barely miss out on the damage they need. Instead, FlyQuest going to use their chance, go after the red buff right now. Cryogen is in danger, kept alive there by the Dawning Shadow. Kizno buying time here in the stasis, staying alive for now. Griffin making so much space, going in after Calmy. Kizno's already down, Lion's going to be your second kill. 5v3 on the map, and it's about to get even worse. A double for Griffin. Sajet is gone, and Castle's behind all of FlyQuest with his dominance, but it won't matter. There's no chance for the Renekton to go in as FlyQuest will just kick their way through the front door. Tier 3 turret in mid lane drops. Inhibitor is the next target, and it's Calmy and Castle tasked with holding the line in an impossible situation. FlyQuest with the 5-man push going after the first Nexus turret. They've got the Baron Enchanted minions. They've got the cannon for the extra DPS on the structures. Castle cannot approach. He has no ultimate here on the Renekton. He's got half a Fury Bar. He goes in for the Ruthless Predator. He buys only a moment as he's shot down. He's out of there. FlyQuest are going to kill off the solo laners. They'll make their way onto the Nexus, and they'll take the series 2-1.
Griffin is the blender, and he was making Aphelios smoothies all game long, Flowers.
Oh, yeah, with all the angst and the hair in front of your eyeballs and the talking to your sister on the moon, it's all in there in equal parts.
I didn't know that, lore.
I learned that the other day, too. It didn't make no sense to me, but you know what? That's what happened, and Griffin just ran that game start to finish. Chat, I'm telling you right now, if you're voting anybody other than Griffin on that one, I want to have a swig of whatever you're drinking because it must be strong. Let's toss it back over to the lounge now and break it all down.
I appreciate that Flowers is trying to cook the vote as someone who
that was real.
already voted for Griffin.
Yeah, and also he just did a lore drop on a champion. I don't think he's ever read the lore, but it was pretty accurate.